You know what that sounds from?
That's a pufferfish, right?
Yeah, that's the fucking pufferfish of the carrot. That's just
From what?
Yeah.
From Shark Tale?
no.
No.
So this chef just
Pufferfish.
got this. You should look it up. It's the pufferfish. This pufferfish.
What do I look up?
Just say
Pufferfish carrot.
Pufferfish sound, and
Yeah.
then it'll come up probably.
Just put pufferfish and it'll probably pull up the sound. It's so funny. No, but there's a second one like that everybody forgets because it's like
Yeah.
Pufferfish
Like,
sound worked.
Yep.
What's going on? Play.
It's like-
It
It was like part of the cooking thing that they like suffocate.
Dylan, what you been looking up?
Yeah.
Dylan, what you watch?
No. That's all our mushroom
That's
man
exactly
talk.
what I'm talking about.
That's
That's
Oh,
exactly what I'm
Mushroom
talking about.
Man.
Because
Oh,
we keep talking about
hilarious.
Mushroom
We were
Man.
talking about mushroom, like we just kept talking about mushroom.
Yo.
And his watch. You wearing your watch?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
that shit got you downloaded, bro.
This motherfucker, man.
That's
No.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
They're basically suffocating it with like they're choking it with the carrot. It can't eat it fast enough. And
Oh,
part
is
of
that
it-
what that is? I
Yeah.
couldn't figure out why I was making that. I thought it was just fucking like.
That's
No.
animal cruelty, man.
That's
well, they're
fucking
trying to
hell.
cook
How
it
does
and
that
eat
only
it.
have 70,000?
You trying to kill it?
There's a different one.
There's
that
a
has
full
white-
video that has like
yeah.
millions
How
of
are they
views.
trying to kill it when it doesn't breathe air, man? Just leave it.
Exactly, just leave it. No, they
But
got-
it's a puff, right? It sucks in all the air and it
Yeah.
blows itself up. That's how it becomes like puff.
But does it do that in the water?
Yeah.
How does it do in the French?
Why did they put a mustache on it?
That's like my fucking favorite side. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
What is happening?
It is so funny.
What is that, man?
I've never heard that
How have you
before.
not
man.
heard this?
Like,
That's been
That was like
That's
that was
amazing.
big on Twitter for like
Yeah.
a long
Man,
time.
I've never
I ain't
been on Twitter.
man. I'm
Yeah,
not on
yeah.
Twitter.
I've-
I'm not on Instagram.
Fair.
Really.
What?
I mean, I'm
You
there. I'm on.
Oh,
I look
yeah.
around, but I'm not there, man.
I gotta get back on it and do something with my account.
Yeah.
Turn it into a fan page for me.
Something. I got 3,000 followers, so.
Turn into a fan page.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll transfer over. I don't know if
Yeah,
those
it'll go
The
from
car-
3,000 to 3.
audiences will- yeah, our audience
You
into
gotta
the
do
game
more music
fan.
videos with my car, bro.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Let's get it going, man. Let's get it cracking.
get it
Where's Mo?
going.
Mo said he's
Oh.
supposed to wreck my last video,
Oh, yeah.
so it's on him. He's hiding.
And we're supposed to make short film for you.
Oh.
Yeah. We're all right to start. Right?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Jesus Christ. What is up with
Are you
that?
still trying to do that?
Okay.
You?
Huh.
Make short films?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For the
Yeah.
cement?
For
Yeah.
free, for life, right? Yeah, everybody saw him not. Everybody saw him
Yeah,
not.
yeah, we all
We
saw
got it on camera.
We got it last
That
year.
is an agreement. That was
Oh,
an
shit.
agreement.
Yeah, that was a contract made.
How'd you get Joseph Dance? He's making $40 million a year. How'd you get him on a? I got him for free, man. He signed that shit years ago, and we got him locked.
Just
man.
shows the yeah. You do this, just a zoom in on the nod.
He
got
nodded.
Joseph
That right
Dancy.
there.
I'll
We got-
start with 3 shots in a podcast.
We got Joseph Dancy for the next Thursday movie, the next upcoming What a Nice Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Movie. It's just
What-
like
Thursday.
Friday.
What's going
Thursday.
on right now?
I'm hitting all the weekdays, man. We getting movies done with this guy.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Weren't you in Dune? You just finished filming Dune, right? Because
Yeah. Myself, Timothy Chalamet, worked very closely with Zendaya.
Yeah,
It
of
was
course.
When are you gonna get in a Disney movie?
That's what I'm thinking.
Sam.
If I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
actually.
one Disney movie, I want to do
honestly.
Treasure Planet.
Yeah, no, but you-
Ooh,
I
Treasure,
tried
you'd be
to-
great in Treasure
Yeah,
Planet.
that'd
I
be-
can see you in Treasure
You're
Planet
already
for
wearing
sure.
the outfit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
can
right
see you
now,
in
your
literally
Treasure.
hair
have
is
the
good.
exact same scar too.
You have
and
no
I'm
idea.
like,
It's
Yeah, you
about
can see
time
it.
for the remake. That's
exactly.
what's
But
Hey,
that movie,
Hollywood.
that
That's
movie,
great.
No, but they
cost
got-
them so much money.
Disney makes
Why?
Avatar, doesn't it?
Do they?
Maybe. Yeah.
I
Possibly.
That's
I
James
think so.
Cameron.
Yeah, but who's it under? Who? What?
It might be under Disney.
I think it's on. I feel like it's under
Yeah.
Disney, or it might be under
Universal?
SKG, which is Steven
But I
Spielberg.
think it
Owned
is on
Avatar,
like
don't have service
because it's on Disney Plus, right?
20th Century Fox.
Oh, 20th Century. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if it's under Disney, they probably
The
spend
Walt
on it.
Disney Company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
wait,
yeah,
Fox is Walt Disney. Why are they conservatives on the news?
because Fox, it's
That's
too late.
different.
They're gone.
Yeah.
That ship sailed. They just bought up the company.
I see.
Yeah.
It's too late. Walt Disney owns so much shit.
Yeah.
Hold on. What? Do you know why Treasure Planet cost them so much money?
Yeah, the animation of it was so new for their time because they did this weird thing where it was like it was 2D drawn, but then they drew
3D
yeah,
sex. Yeah,
It
yeah.
was the
yeah.
first time that they ever did it, and so it cost them so much money that they didn't even basically I don't even know if they broke even or if they lost money
Wow.
on the film.
It's kind of
Like looking back at it,
Well,
Yeah.
you know, L.A. Noire. That was made by Rockstar.
Oh,
that
yeah,
company
the game.
that made because it was face recognition, right? So they did real human faces to do all the lying and stuff. That company that made it went under.
Yeah.
Team Bondi, it went under.
Oh, yeah.
From
Bondi.
just because it took them,
Bondi
it costed
under.
so much money for them to make it that the company went under
Yeah.
immediately
I
after the
haven't seen
game.
shit from them in years since then, actually.
Yeah, they haven't made. Well, they wouldn't have made
They're
anything
done.
after
Yeah.
that. That was it.
Yeah.
That was the last game I think they made. So that
Holy
would surprise
shit.
me.
Nah, man, that shit is crazy.
Did you know they're making 4 avatars? That's why I brought up Avatar. They're making
Yeah,
4.
they're making 4. This is the second one.
The second one's coming out next
I know.
year.
This is the crazy
I don't
part.
know
Yeah,
if
how
I'm
long
gonna
did
watch
it take
another
them to-
one.
He's gonna be
after
dead
this.
by the time this shit's done, man.
Yeah.
No way, James.
How old is Jane Cameron? 68?
No, man, he's definitely in his fucking
70s?
No
No,
way.
way, bro.
Okay, maybe early
Late 50s.
I would
At best.
early 60s.
Late 50s.
67. He's almost 70.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right, man. I told
shit.
y'all, man.
Holy
Y'all coming at me
shit,
like I'm
dude.
crazy, man. I
He ain't
told
gonna
you
die.
he's
Didn't this
almost
nigga go to the
70
bottom?
years
Didn't this
old.
nigga go to
And
the
he's
bottom of the
Canadian.
ocean?
Yeah, like fucking 50 years ago, man.
This nigga went to the bottom of the ocean and raised the bar, just like that, bro. I've never
I
seen a
don't know
nigga
how
do
he I don't know
And
how
he's
he
Canadian.
withheld the pressure.
Yeah, and
Maybe
he's
he's like a
Canadian.
jellyfish or some shit. His bones already gone. He's just fucking.
I don't know how he got to the bottom of the ocean
Yeah.
and didn't die and hit the
That's-
bends. He's a liar.
No, he went
Nobody
to the
can
bottom.
prove it.
He went to the bottom.
How do we know? Nobody can fucking prove it.
Yeah,
Nobody can be like, all right, show me where you went.
Was anybody there when Jeff Bezos went to space? Was anyone?
I'm sorry,
there?
where?
Were you there?
What? What?
That's where he's from.
Kapuskasking, Ontario, Canada.
Oh,
Oh,
I honestly thought that was the
didn't
Northwest
know he-
Territories. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I
I thought that
don't-
was just in
I
the
I didn't know he was
territories.
Canadian, to be honest.
Yeah, he's
Oh yeah, he's Canadian.
along with Ryan Reynolds and
Yeah.
who
Ryan
else?
Gosling? Are they both?
Yeah, Ryan
both
Gosling.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
Oh,
Vancouver.
Yeah.
They're all from Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's from. Well, no, they're not from Vancouver. Well, Seth Rogen was born in Vancouver,
Yeah.
but not all of them are from Vancouver.
Yeah.
They just that's
Yeah,
where
he's from
film. That's where
Sask,
film
big
is.
too.
You go to VFS, or you go to
Exactly.
that. You go to Toronto.
Yeah.
That's where it's it. There's the only two
Nowhere
places
else
you can go.
where you go to the States.
You go to the States. You go to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Hollywood. Hollywood ain't far away from Vancouver.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Do you want to go to Hollywood?
I mean, at some point, yeah, I'd love to be in a Hollywood film, but it seems very.
Like
Hollywood seems like it's gonna collapse at some
It already is. LA's
Do you,
done.
do
ever
you
since
feel like
COVID.
you wouldn't
I don't know why I asked you.
like you wouldn't go
But awesome.
like uproot everything and move there? Like you're not at that.
You would
point.
go there for a week to shoot.
Yeah, I'd go there to shoot. I don't think I'd move there. I think it's hard. It's such a wider pool of actors and people trying to make it there that it's like. Not even the fact that it's more competition, it's such a saturated market then.
Mm-hmm.
Where if I'm here
It's like
or in
me trying to-
Toronto,
Yeah.
if you like moved to somewhere else
To Vegas to try to DJ
Exactly.
and like, hey, bro, I did DJ.
Even
It's
when
like,
you,
oh
like-
yeah, every single fucking person here is
Yeah.
a DJ.
Even
Good.
if it's not necessarily
cousin
the
too.
case,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how the image is. Like you watch
Exactly.
movies and every dining waitress is a up and coming movie.
Exactly.
But
star,
like,
right?
is it even like like you know what I mean? Like if we lived in Hollywood and we lived in L.A., Compton, whatever, wherever we lived. Would you not be like you would be rapping every
Yeah,
other week at
of
every
course.
other studio,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We'd all be doing different shit. Like you would probably
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, I'm really like everybody probably lives there and thinks the same thing, right? There's
Yeah.
the handful of people who actually get a regular job,
Yeah,
whatever.
no, that's it. If
Like-
anything, they only do that to fuel a dream. Like that.
Yeah.
That's a land of opportunity in like where people and for years it's like, oh, go there and you're gonna find your wildest dreams are all gonna come
Yeah.
true as long as you put the work in.
I mean, the work
Like,
is
well,
there,
but no,
yeah.
But not really.
That's what they try to
Yeah.
sell you. But
Yeah.
no, when you go there,
yeah, no, you go.
you're fucking working at McDonald's or
Yeah.
Whataburger.
Yeah,
trying to
the
figure
last-
this shit out, man.
The last time you could go to LA to get a dream was like in the 50s when you could buy land for like $2 and like
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've
you
been
know what I
selling
mean?
the dream for the past.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean? Like
decade,
there's
couple
no
decades.
way like you would go broke because it's like $4
Suit,
grand just to
yeah.
like
Yeah.
rent
Oh,
an
fucking
apartment.
It's
month.
outrageous.
Yeah,
for a
You
tiny
can't afford
little-
water.
you can't afford. There's no water.
Yeah.
First
They're
of all,
in a drought
Yeah.
all the time.
all the time.
Dude,
But it's
yeah,
like
they banned all gas like lawnmowers and stuff like that. Now
Oh, yeah.
it's only electric. there
damn,
now.
yeah,
Jeez.
that's crazy. And like the other thing is, it's like
That's ridiculous.
when you get into big cities like that, like you can get into a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? You can
Oh,
be
hell
in the
yeah.
wrong situation. You're gonna have to make ends meet. So
You
you're
could
like,
get
well, at the
fucking
end of the day,
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's like well, if I have to pay rent, I'm gonna sell weed on the side. I'm gonna sell coke on the side. I'm gonna do all this. You know what I mean? Sure, I'm gonna get into the Hollywood party, but I'm the coke dealer to all the fucking celebrities. You know what I mean? That's where the money's at. You know what I mean? Be the drug dealer, right? And like it's like moving to New York. You know what I mean? When Mo was talking about like going to New York and being homeless, yeah, that's an actual dream you could achieve because you try and live there, you genuinely
You will
actually
100% end up
homeless.
with your ass on the street and getting conned like how he got conned by the fucking rapper.
Yeah.
Like that is textbook. Don't talk to the rappers. So Mo would get fucking finagled.
Yeah.
Literally.
The thing is, it's like with big cities, in every city, it's like, think about the population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I was talking to my girlfriend about it. Finding good people in this city,
Yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of people.
Mhm.
But in a bigger city, yes, it's gonna. You might have more friends after a certain point if you're out there and trying to find them.
Yeah.
But weeding through those people, like you might find a
Yeah.
bigger circle, but
It's saturated,
there's
right?
gonna be so
Yeah.
many fucker, like the fucker.
Yeah. And that's the thing here. Like if you're
kind of shit.
Yeah.
sorry, if you're here, like you hear about all the people that do fuck things.
Yeah,
You know
so
what I
you know
mean?
who it is.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, this dude did this, you know what I mean? Or like you talk to anybody here, right? You work with people, they'll be like, I know this person, I went to school with this. You know what I mean? It's super easy. But like, yeah, you talk about going to like a Toronto, a Montreal,
People are very
Vancouver.
disconnected, but they're very social.
Yeah.
So people will want to be and act like they're your friend,
Yeah.
But they're
most,
not.
Most of the time, it's just to take advantage of you, or
Yeah.
use, or
It's just a connection.
and that's the thing. But it's the same
Yeah.
thing here.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just you're gonna see it on a gigantic scale.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
the population is fucking 30 times.
Yeah,
bigger
and I
than
mean
what
here,
you
if you
see.
get fucked over by somebody, at least everybody will know, and they're like, this person's only in it for that. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
yeah.
As opposed to like, yeah, well, everybody's actually in it for that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
And like, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like you think of like, especially like if you think about like we were talking about like how an influencer is a job, and how like that's like a
Right,
crazy
yeah, it's a
concept to
real
me
thing,
now,
yeah.
right? Like that's like a job where it's just like you have to like grind the fuck out, or like people will be like pretending that they have a specific job, but they got to go through some other means to do the same thing that you're doing. You know what I mean? It's like
100%.
there was who was it? There's some dude who was used to like pose with cars in Miami.
Yeah,
and
Drake
he
used to do that. Drake just posted yesterday about how they used to spend $4,000, $5,000 a month to buy a Phantom back before anything was ever popping, just to keep the image that things were going to happen and he was going to make it, and keep that like
Yeah.
that like extreme manifestation of like this is going to be a reality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like they were broke, but like not broke, but they were like broke. You know what I'm saying? They didn't.
They made they had
made
loans.
They made it look like shit was
Good.
popping,
But it
they
wasn't.
They were scraping it together, trying to figure it out. But eventually, it made to that.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about like this dude. This dude used to.
that's an example that won.
Yeah, that's a true. That's another example of it though too, right? Like people living outside of their own means essentially to do that, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's also like the example of like this dude was like, oh yeah, I work with dealerships, like I get these cars in, right? But it was like we don't really know where these cars are actually coming from. I've never heard of this dude. Some of these dudes are stealing cars on the weekends, bringing them to these sets, bringing them back. You know what I mean? Or like they're doing extreme, renting them out for the weekend from somebody else to rent it out to you, and they're charging you double the price so that they can make up for that. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to work as like a middleman sometimes. You know what I mean? So like
hustle.
yeah, exactly. Like hustling. You know what I mean?
Insurance scams, credit.
Yeah,
card
all that
scams,
shit, right? Not even like that, but it was literally just cars. It was
No,
like,
no, not that guy did that, but that's just it's the game, man.
yeah,
It's all
that's
out there.
yeah. Different people do a lot of shit, right? And you gotta like sometimes you gotta do shit to like make ends
Make it a
meet.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially in a
right?
bigger city, that's why those things happen a lot more often.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The ends justify the means, right?
Yeah.
Making that money, and you're just like, well, I gotta feed this person
Yeah,
and
well,
this person and make it all
and-
happen.
and-
Even my mom, she works for a mortgage company,
Mm.
and a lot of people, they are like, and it's like a second hand like mortgage company. So it's like if the bank won't accept you, you go here
Yeah.
and kind of get it. And they fund like some people's like $1 million houses, and these people are paying such a high interest rate, and they're so in debt, but they still have a Ferrari in their garage. Some they're like trying to live up to this lifestyle.
Yeah.
that everything's okay, but
It's like
She's
sell that
suffering
car,
in it.
sell
Yeah,
that,
right?
pay off your debt, you'll be good. But you just
Yeah.
you keep thinking that you need these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of. I guess it depends on like what market you're into. Like I kind of do almost. I feel like I did almost the same thing when I went out to Toronto to film, because that's the only time I ever posted on my Instagram anything.
Yeah, I ever
at
see you.
all.
You work it, man.
I never
flexing
but
on them
literally
bitches, bro.
like, and that's kind of part of the job, is just to show people that it's like, oh yeah, I'm
real.
working, I'm doing this, and then people like have you in mind where it's like, oh, he's working, he did this project, he got this job,
He's fresh,
doing
man.
something, so now I can,
He's
know,
literally
now I'm
using
thinking
like
of him when I'm thinking of people that are working
Yeah.
in the industry.
Yeah, he was working. He's fresh.
Yeah.
He's not rusty. Like, it's COVID. A lot of people aren't doing
Yeah,
anything.
and sometimes I feel like I'm
That
like,
was-
basically posing up in front of a car, being
That's-
like,
well, I'm
man,
telling
Yeah.
But that was the upper hand.
Manifestation, baby.
That was the upper hand for me, man. I
Yeah.
mean, like, the whole thing was like, if I didn't post
Yeah.
about coming back, I was one of the first DJs to be like playing back
Yeah.
once COVID was like back and doing the thing. There were a bunch of other people, but I didn't really know any of the people within my circle that were out within the first few weeks. Not that that's a great thing, but like that shit, I needed to make money.
Yeah.
And that shit helped me because it made everybody else be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
he's not rusty.
It's withholding a perception. It's like being able to just put it out there and being like, yeah, it's, I don't know, like at sometimes I feel like I'm like lying in a way where I'm just like, I'm not working all the time, but the only time they see me is when I'm
gotta
working.
be, that's what it is. Everybody always thinks I'm busy as fuck. People think
Yeah.
I'm busy as fuck. I'm not. I am.
Yeah.
My time is not always free. Like, my time is
Yeah.
not free. I am busy, but I'm not always just working, and I'm not always just, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I
Just not
have
showing
life. Yeah.
everything that's happening.
I'm just gonna
It's
show
just
you when I'm
selecting the
fucking
good
it up at
parts,
the
putting
club.
it out
I'm
there.
killing it. That's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna show
Yeah.
you,
Yeah,
and then you're gonna
absolutely.
see it. So that's why social media is you can't take it for what it is. You have to
Absolutely,
take it
yeah.
and just understand that is the perception that person wants you to see their life as.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's gonna be 100% truthful, and the
Yeah.
people that are, you look at those people like, what the fuck is this person doing? That's Facebook. You're like, this person, they're on their or like they're on a Facebook video or
Some
a
people are
live, and they're
too
talking about
truthful, man.
all their problems and all their
Yeah.
shit and all like that's real. That's truthful. That's honest. That's what it is. But sometimes that's too much.
Yo.
You know, you're too real. You're too.
I don't want to hear
Keep it. Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
wants to hear it. I don't want to
that
see
shit, bro.
35 pictures of you and your family on vacation, one after the other, posted on your feed. Like,
I'm
that,
just here to see a pufferfish going.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
I'm trying to
scrolling
laugh.
through-
I'm trying
my
to see. I'm
break.
trying to see bad magic tricks. I'm trying to see
I'm sorry, we saw
boomer
that.
jokes.
Yeah.
He's trying to see COD in 4K.
Yeah, caught in 4Ks. That's what I'm trying to see all that
4K,
shit.
man.
Yeah, man. When people are like, especially Instagram. I feel like Instagram
Yeah.
just becomes. It's so easy, right? You don't have to respond to comments. You know, Facebook. It's like you
No.
know everybody too personally to
Exactly.
ignore people to say shit. You know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
shit, man.
And like, yeah, Instagram's always just been that like flex point. You know what I mean? When
Literally.
people really started to like flex, it was like, oh yeah, man, post up in front of this car, you know, in LA.
It's like,
and
well,
this,
no,
and
and then,
this.
but then it starts. That got old. The money, the this, the that. Like, still people are impressed, but now it became, after a certain point, it was where I am. Look who
Yeah.
I'm with.
Yeah.
Look at I'm on vacation. I'm doing
Yeah.
this. Oh, look, I made it into this party. You guys didn't. Look at what's happening. Da, 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 da. And then it became like a exclusivity thing.
Yeah.
Like, clicky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything else. Like, humans like to like group up like that, man. And then when you have social media on top of it all, everybody's just so fucking pressed 24/7
Yeah.
Mhm.
because they ain't got this or they ain't got that, or you know what I'm saying? Or if they do have it, everybody's talking shit and they're just looking at all their comments and fucking like getting in their feelings and shit.
Yeah.
Turn off your phone, nigga. Or don't post. Keep it to yourself and enjoy your life. Like,
Honestly.
I hate going to a concert and seeing like more like seeing what's happening on stage clearly through someone's phone rather
Yeah.
than like, because that's in my way,
Oh yeah.
rather
yeah.
than fucking being able to just
Watch
see what's
the
going on.
performance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's fucking 3, 4, 5,
Yo,
6,
when
7,
people pull
8,
out
9
the
phones.
iPads,
That
you're
is
like,
an
"Ah,
iPad."
good." You're like, how much is a 24-inch? Like, I got this right here, bro.
Ridiculous, bro. Like, be present, be in your moment, and like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like it's good for a career.
I mean, I'm bad
For a career, exactly. Yeah.
for a career or for like trying to brand yourself, merchandising, any products.
Well,
you're
like
trying to sell.
growth, really
course,
and truly,
growth,
right?
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
want, like if you know, with
Financial,
you, right?
business,
Like
that
if,
kind of shit. Yeah.
if we're at your level, like you definitely want people to post,
Yeah.
you know, tag
Yeah.
whatever, right? But like, yeah, if you're like, you know, I'm bad. I was bad for this when we went to the concerts, but like, you know, when you go into like a Drake weekend concert, or
Yeah.
fucking, whoever's concert, and you posting the whole concert the entire time.
whole concert.
That pisses me off.
The
I remember,
whole
we were at the second.
I didn't
was
have
at
to
the
go. I saw the whole thing. Right
Yeah, I
there.
went to the second weekend concert, and I was like, halfway through, I was like, delete this shit. Fuck these niggas. I pay for this ticket.
That's what
Fuck
I'm
these
saying,
niggas.
man. Like,
I literally
I'm giving
like,
everybody-
never mind, man.
You've
Have
given
everyone
every
pay you for the ticket.
Yeah, if you want to view this shit, it's a private store. You gotta pay for that shit, bro.
put that shit on Patreon, man.
Yeah.
It's like an
Fuck that.
OnlyFans, but
Yeah, concerts.
Yeah.
Only a front row seat. Yo,
Damn.
yeah, that would be dope.
Fuck that, man. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly what I mean. Like that shit is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Crazy to me. Like in any moment, even in the worst situations, like you'll watch a movie or you'll watch a TV show and like something bad will happen in public and like someone gets shot in the street or somebody will be fighting in the street and the first thing that happens, someone's just immediately
Video.
instead of calling 911,
Pull up the video, bro.
Video.
That shit drives me crazy. Because
Video.
it's just
That's
like,
so true.
bro, like, you seen all these people, like, this scuffle breaks out between, we were talking about, like, the Black Lives Matter protest, and
Right,
Antifa,
yeah,
all that
yeah,
shit was breaking out, you know what I mean? People busting out their phones, breaking up this fight between these two people, you know what I mean?
Just
That's
fucking-
why you won't fix anything,
Yeah,
because you
because-
guys are way too worried about getting this
Yeah.
clout
Clicks, man.
than getting, like, actually solving anything, you know what I
Honestly,
mean? That's why I
exactly.
hate that about people. Like, people will always bitch and whine and complain about shit, but it's like, what are you actually doing?
What have you done?
What if you?
Yeah.
I'm looking through all your shit right now. Clickbait.
Exactly.
Oh. Okay, I see. So you really not about. You like to talk about the problem. You like when people agree with you about the problem.
Yeah.
But you don't actually like to solve the
Yeah.
problem.
Well,
I
it's
hate
virtue
that.
signaling.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just being like, I'm a good person because I have a problem with
Those
this.
those
Yeah.
people should be politicians
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
really are.
Literally
They
what they're
literally
doing.
want to. They love talking about it. They love coming up with solutions, but they really
do
don't like
shit.
fixing the actual
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fuck, man, that shit. Like those are the types of people, bro. There's so many. The
Yeah.
thing is, it's not like this is like few and far between as like
It's
how a
grown.
good
Yeah.
good person is, and it wasn't always like this.
No, I mean, I
It-
think
it-
it was in
in-
some sense, but
Not in your face.
yeah, I think we just have a lot more resources to exploit that way now. And I think before, because I just think as people, we're also, I guess, influenced by others and their perceptions of us that we're so, I guess, we want to put out a perception of us that is acceptable to a large group of people. But then when stuff like TikTok and Instagram, people going famous for like what was her name,
The
Barbie or whatever.
bad baby,
Where
bad
she,
whatever.
yeah, where she was
Dr.
on
Phil.
Dr. Phil, just like
Oh,
being
yeah,
a
yeah.
Oh, I was like,
Catch
that's
Me
bad.
Outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Catch Me Outside, girl. Yeah.
yeah, where everyone's like, that's awesome, and it's like, yeah, well, that was a terrible person to like idolize or shove up into.
Oh,
that.
and she got a
Yeah.
TV show, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
had a music deal. You know what I mean? And she just
Everything,
blew
yeah.
Now
up
what's she
from
doing?
that.
She's just
And then everyone
OnlyFans in it
chases
up.
that
Yeah.
same thing. Everyone chases that where they're like, oh, I just have to do something super controversial first,
Oh,
and then I
yeah.
can change up later. Like
You could talk about
Yeah.
like 6ix9ine's obviously the
Yeah.
biggest example of
Yeah.
all that shit. You could talk about who's that dude who wears Supreme Patty's another big one. Both of the Paul brothers
yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
are a huge example of that. Those hype houses, all those houses,
All of
all
them.
those TikTok followers,
all
the
the
same shit.
Yeah.
Face Clan.
FaZe
Yeah.
Clan. FaZe Clan's like, FaZe Clan's gamers, but like no, it's like
Yeah.
like
I thought that was the house you were talking
no. There's like hype house. I can't
They're,
remember
like,
like
influencer
like
houses.
Addison Ray,
Oh, yeah,
Charlie
yeah,
Dumb,
yeah,
like
yeah.
all them. They were
Yeah.
in this hype house and they were all doing TikToks and shit like that. And then they were throwing parties during
about.
pandemic.
Yeah.
And then they got shut down. Their
remember
water
that.
got shut off. Shit like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
I remember that.
I've been to a party where water shut off, man.
What?
This is a bitch.
You've
You-
been to a party
Where the water was shut
Yeah,
off,
that-
yeah.
what do you
You
mean?
never realize how much you actually want water until it's really you're
Gone.
looking
So
around
you have no choice.
and you're like, this
Wait,
shit dry.
what do you mean?
Like
the
they
water
shut off the water. Like the
Like,
So
pipe
you can't
was
drink
Like
water out
that,
of the tap.
I understand, but like the city
No.
No,
Like
just the house,
somebody in
yeah.
the house shut off the water.
Oh.
Yeah.
to get everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they were pissed off. They're being petty, and then they would just turn off the water, and we're like, hold up. This is why- You can't flush the toilet. You can't go take a piss. You got to go
Yeah.
outside. You know what I
That
mean?
yeah, that's a
That
pretty
shit's
rough
dirty.
one.
You look at anybody who taking a shit in that shit. I'm like, nah, nigga, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
It's
Turn into a porta
sweet.
potty, man.
Yeah,
Quick
that's
times, man. Just
dirty.
you got a water bottle, bro. Just
Yeah.
put that
Yeah.
down the toilet, man. You're gonna have to fucking make
Yeah.
your own flush.
Waffle,
Yeah.
waffle
Yeah.
stomp that shit down,
Oh,
bro.
Here,
That was a
awful
gamble
stuff.
that they played. That toilet could have filled up real fast.
Yeah. Oh,
if that
man.
was their house, hell
If
yeah.
it was only like Bird guys, if it's a party with only dudes there, that toilet will fill up.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And then they going down to you. You gotta unclog my shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
I'm not even dealing. I'm not there moving if that's my house.
Yeah.
I'm not in that situation. I'm not inviting any Alberta guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
that shit.
Alberta scares me, man. The people here scare me.
They
It's
scary.
a different level.
Yeah.
We're different.
And I
bro.
just mean like I don't know, just
Different
on
breed.
Tinder alone.
Yeah.
Tinder
yeah,
alone,
how's-
the people here compared to Toronto, they act.
How's
different.
the single life out in there? How's Tinder been?
Like
How's
here, awful, dude. It's not good. I don't know.
Jesus.
People are just odd.
I do
Even just
not
seeing
doubt
their
that.
profiles.
I don't doubt that. Oh yeah.
They're either just complete Drake stans, which like I like some Drake, sure.
Uh-huh.
But like to the point where that's their personality, where
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
only thing they put in their bio, anything,
yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
okay, like
Dope.
weird,
Yeah, sick.
weird. And then everyone else is like, I'm looking for a cowboy.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking for this.
Yeah,
I'm
the
looking for
cow.
We just have like I think we have such a different
this is
like
the Texas
dichotomy
of-
of people. Like we have
Yeah.
like people who are like either like super punk kind of emo, they
Yeah.
got hella piercings, tattoos, like you know what I mean.
Yep.
Like
There's-
then you have like cowgirls, and you have really you know what I mean. You have such like a contrast of people who all live on like the opposite ends of everything, but they don't really all agree with everything. So it's just kind of like, well, of course you're gonna have this. If you don't like this thing, you're not gonna get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Not
A big city, obviously, you're gonna have like a more, you know, there's a
Bigger
mixture.
pool,
There's a
right? Yeah.
middle of everything. You can
Yeah.
find everything you want on a spectrum. But
yes.
here it's just like this, and this. I couldn't, you know what I mean? Like I really like. I feel like I know so many emo people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like I could name country people, I could name emo people, and I could name really fucking basic people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just people
All
that
in
fit
one.
in that
Yeah.
triple
Yeah.
set. You know.
I don't get
And then you try and step out a little bit. I'm not trying to be like the hipsters are just trying to lure you
Try
in.
to
Come
sweat.
here.
Yeah.
You
No,
want No, 100%.
no, get out of
That's 100%
here.
what it's like. No, man, I just like wearing nice clothes. Get
Yeah.
away from me.
Yeah.
That this place is very divided like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like I said, man. It's just like fucking Instagram, bro. It's human nature, bro. It's very like clicky,
Yeah.
but like
I
in, like,
know,
in such
but
a weird way. Like
it's like clicky, but like I was an outcast in high school.
That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
like you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
me
Like
too.
you
Yeah,
trying
no,
to
I was
you're trying to
outcast.
juxtaposition yourself against everybody
Exactly.
else. When it's just like I can name 6 people who are exactly like you.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, but that's exactly why I was an outcast in high school. Like I could fit into many different groups.
Yeah.
You could say, right? But I was never in any group.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
with the drama people,
But like,
but
even
I
then,
didn't.
it's
I
like
wasn't sitting there at
lunchtime,
lunchtime talking about fucking improv.
Yeah. No.
You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm saying?
God,
Like
no.
I wasn't. No, I respected my teacher at the time and my peers,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be there and have fun and act and shit. That's it. At lunch, I was with my boys,
Yep.
chilling, and then later I might be, you know what I'm saying, with some people in class that I'm really cool with, and they're like nerds. I'm in Japanese class, and it's like people that are
Yeah.
like completely on the opposite side of who my friends would ever like think that they would hang out with, but these are all great people.
Yeah.
They don't ever know. And then like, you know what I'm saying? It was just I could just do whatever, but I was
Yeah.
never ever like this is that Jaylin. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the rapper. That was it. That's all you
Yeah.
could say. He's the rapper kid.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We have such a juxtaposition of everybody too, and it's just so weird because it's just like that's the thing. Like here, it's like you're such a big community of like people who are like alternative and emo, like people who like go to like White Ave is so
Well, that's
much
what I'm saying.
like
The
that.
White Ave
Yeah.
is less. I could exactly say it. Like White Ave is very funny. I don't even know how else to describe
Yeah.
like the tone of like being
People.
a DJ
Little
and
Yeah.
pocket
sitting
of
and
chaos. Like, just
yeah,
little
just
everything
being a
out
DJ.
there.
Like I stopped playing the main floor of Lux because it was
Whack.
like
Oh, yeah.
too much of just like a mental drain. So I'm upstairs sometimes, and it's a lot more of better.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, upstairs is all like it'll start to be like the mixture of everybody, and it'll eventually turn out to be just like my crowd of people.
Yeah.
Ethnics.
Ethnic
As I'm
people.
trying not to say, yeah, the
I heard that
mixture of
too.
people, and then he was like, I was like, yeah, the ethnic people. Yeah, that's what ended up being black
And
people.
but like when I was on the main floor, it would be like everybody, which is great. But
Yeah.
the thing is, you'd play certain things for this group, and then that group, and then this group, and trying to
You can't please everybody.
no.
Right? Yeah.
But as they'll come up to you and start
Mhm.
asking for requests or doing this or doing that, and after a certain point, like I know what works.
yeah.
So like on White Ave, play all the most generic
shit
possible.
ever.
Oh, yeah.
Generic, trashiest, pitbullist, EDM,
Fireball.
house, Fireball,
God damn.
Tiesto. Play all that shit.
Mr. Worldwide.
All that shit. Do all that shit. I'm not your guy. I can do it, but don't call my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am bottle service. I'm hip hop, trap, reggae,
Yeah.
Afro, R&B, reggae, urban. I'm very urban. And I was even sitting with my friend Curfew, DJ Curfew, who turned into a big superstar now, Mr. Beercade.
Anyways.
Anyways. He's
Too
like,
big for us.
He's
Can't be
like,
on the
he's
card.
like, he's like, so do you think like, he's like, do you think like it's a bad thing like that you feel like, or like you're something about like that you're so urban? And I'm like, nah, I love it. I'm like, if I had to play any of the shit that you have to play, I would kill myself.
Yeah.
Because I only do this job because I love playing music that I like enjoy playing for
Yeah.
people. Not because like I still will cater to a crowd. I'll play the shit. I'll make sure they're having a good time, but I'm not gonna necessarily have a great time. I want to do gigs where everybody's enjoying themselves, including me. So that everybody will really enjoy themselves to the fullest. Because I will give my best if I'm dancing around singing. Sometimes I'll be singing them shits.
Yeah.
Pitbull and fucking, I love them songs. But I'm not trying to play that shit all night.
Yeah. I
Why
mean,
not?
like, why would you be?
What do you mean? Why not, bro? Come on,
It's
man.
like it has to be at least a little bit
Mr.
fulfilling.
Worldwide.
That's what I'm saying,
Like
right?
I'm not gonna be on the
Still
fucking
vibe.
tree house or some shit doing the wiggles or some, you know. I'm not gonna be doing that shit. And then like not knocking it. Anybody that makes money off of that,
Right.
fucking sick. But
Do you
it's
think?
just not fulfilling to me. I want
No.
to actually I want to invest more.
I've always done this as like
So
a
when are you gonna start?
personality.
When are you gonna start DJing?
DJ?
Yeah.
I've actually been underground kind of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He
Sure.
plays in the,
K-pop
He
groups.
plays in Croatian house funk.
Oh,
yo.
Swedish House Mafia.
After
Yeah.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 a.m. to like 7 in
Yeah.
the morning.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, we call it the wrench house. That's actually what we got.
Wrench.
Damn.
Yeah.
That would be a bar here though.
Yeah.
You probably could make millions off of the
The
bar
Wrench
named
House?
the Wrench House, bro.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
shit would kill people. EDM place.
Yeah.
This is working right
Trademark. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
ready.
Actually, let's just cut this from the.
Yeah.
He wants a podcast about tools. called the
Yeah,
Red
I
Sox.
don't know anything about tools, bro.
Yeah, I know nothing.
I know tools.
We're gonna
I can bring
teach
some
you.
tools. I
That's
can
what
bring
this podcast
tools.
is all about.
So which one is the Phillips? You go ahead and point it out for me.
You don't know what the Phillips is?
bring
The star? Is it the
bring
Is
idiots.
it the star or
What
the
is
cross?
the Phillips?
What?
Is it the
Which
star
is the
or the
Phillips?
cross?
The star or the cross?
Yeah, which
Wait,
one?
what is it?
Well, it's the same thing, bro. What are you
Yeah.
talking about, bro?
Which
Trying to
is
trick
the
me.
Phillips? What shape does the Phillips look like?
That's the lacrosse thing. It's like that.
What's
right?
the
What
the
is your
flathead,
vote?
man?
Flathead's a flat one, bro.
I'll vote the star.
You vote
Like
the
the
star?
cross, yeah.
The cross?
It's like this and then like this.
Is it the star or is it the flat?
It's not the flat.
You two got it right. I'm not sure what he's
Yeah.
describing.
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's
What
the
was
star.
That's the
It's
six. Isn't that
it's
the
the
sixth
star.
one?
But I'm doing it like this.
Phillips is this.
Yes, but like when you look at the actual screwdriver, it's like this. It's
Well,
dumb.
I wasn't like.
Whoa, what are you
that
talking
hand
about?
You're
yeah.
was-
talking about the Star of David. If
Yeah.
you look at it
Yeah.
with light on
Hey
it.
man, we can't
Wait,
talk
we
about
were
the
talking
star.
about,
We
like-
can't talk about the star.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Star David. Relax, relax.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna get
relax,
demonetized
relax,
right now.
Yeah.
Now that we're monetized.
Sorry about that, Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, no Ben
Ben
Shapiro
Shapiro,
talk.
don't
Yeah.
yam talk, bro.
We gotta take a break.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta take a
McCann.
break anyway. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is Self Care Sunday.
Oh,
shit happens.
even but
quite a
it's
bit.
even worse
Yeah.
here. Like here, it's like you get, raped. You
Yeah.
could get raped, left, and then like killed, or you could be like, thrown on the side of a ditch and nobody sees you for 3-4 days. You know what I mean? How many people go missing?
Yeah,
every week?
that's. I don't know if that's like a thing that's been happening more often lately, or as I got older, I started like being.
Yeah, I
more
think there's a serial
receptive.
there's a serial killer active in Edmonton.
What?
Yeah, there's like 2 at least.
What are you talking about?
People just go
Two-
missing.
yeah, people go
so
miss-
often lately.
They-
Like, it's
they-
so weird.
I mean, yeah, there's like
don't like
all the
that.
indigenous women are going missing.
Yeah, that's been
Um,
happening for a long.
that's
time.
been for a while, but
I've heard about that.
like yeah, there's 2 active serial killers in Edmonton, but they're not they're looking, but they're not
What do you
doing
mean?
a good
Yeah.
job. That's not even that bad. Vancouver's the worst for it because Vancouver had like 7 8 at one point in like the 90s or the
Yeah.
80s, and they
And
didn't
you
even
know
look
about
into
the
one.
worst one, who was where was he? Was he in BC or something like
Yeah,
that? With the
Coquitlam?
pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would
Um,
like literally like kidnap these girls.
What's his
kill
name?
them.
Ronnie something. Robbie. Fuck. What's his? I can't remember what his name is now. He's like one of the most famous Canadian serial killers because he got like 50 plus bodies
Jeez.
and wasn't caught from like the 80s to.
And basically had the pigs to clean up the mess. Kind
No,
of thing, or?
He would,
Yeah,
like,
so he
grind-
would-
No, he would grind them down and like feed them and like transport them as like pig food.
Oh,
And like
Yeah,
he
he
would
would-
transport it like across the border or something like that.
Yeah, I was just listening to a podcast about
Robert
this.
Picton.
Robert Picton. Yeah. When my girl was listening to the podcast, I was
He was
there.
a pig farmer.
So what he would do. So I can give you the whole context about everything that was going on at this time. So Robert Picton was like specifically because of during the time that he was murdering, BC and like specifically Vancouver was going through a phase of trying to shift away like prostitutes, drugs, especially like heroin and like all those crackheads to East Hastings, right? Just south
Yeah.
of like Gastown or whatever.
Yeah.
Moving all out of that area. Robert Picton grew up on a pig farm and he was like, they were rich, like filthy rich to a point, like, because his family had so much land.
Yeah.
They had very successful businesses. So he had all this big land. So essentially, he would take prostitutes, take them to his house, and then like
Kill him.
like some of them would get away,
Yeah.
but he would kill some of them, right? And so he got away with it because literally the Vancouver police department wouldn't even look into it. They wouldn't look into it about it.
Prostitutes.
Yeah, they were prostitutes, literally.
Yeah.
And so he would.
Not that I'm saying that. Like,
No, but
So
but
he
like-
would kill them. He would essentially treat them like a pig. He would kill them, gut them, slit their throats, let them bleed out, and then he would, make them into pig food. And then anything that couldn't possibly be processed, he would take it to like the processing, or like couldn't be fed. He would take
Yeah.
it to a processing plant, which essentially they burn all the inedible parts of like animals.
yeah.
So
in
you're
that-
telling me that majority of these motherfucking butcher farmer motherfuckers probably murderers
They could be murderers.
because that's the best way to get rid of your shit. How do you even get caught?
You don't.
How did
And he didn't get caught for a long time. And he only got caught because when they captured him, he admitted in prison that he was like, well, I wish I had gotten to number 50. To
So
the
what-
dude who
so
was
wait,
pretending.
No, wait, hold on. But how did they get him? Like, what did they get him on? How did he get caught? If he's doing this feels like a
So they
foolproof
caught
plan.
him
This feels
on
solid.
the fact that I think he beat a girl. Oh no! Okay, this is what happened. So he picked up a prostitute.
He let one get away.
He let one get away,
Oh,
but
man.
it wasn't until like 5 years later
Right.
that they
That's the
processed him
problem.
later,
That's the problem.
right? And so she didn't even show up to the trial, so he almost even got away.
Yeah.
Can't let him get away. Man.
That was the other thing, and he'd been charged
kidding.
2 or 3 times beforehand and didn't get charged the same thing because
Really?
nobody would
Damn.
show up. Him and his
he's
brother were
fucking
almost like
psycho.
gangsters
Yeah.
because they had all the Hell's Angels in the Vancouver Police Department at the time, and then the police. He had a club on his property.
Oh.
And all the police department would show up. He had Nickelback play there apparently, like way back in the day, and
Sounds
like
like a real Ku Klux Klan kind of shit.
yeah. And but like he would like essentially just like kill these people. I think that's how he got caught. I think he got caught because he was fighting a girl. He pulled the knife. She had noticed the knife, and then he just whatever fucking her, and then he pulled out the knife. I believe he stabbed her, and then he somehow got the knife in her hands and stabbed him in his jugular.
Oh, how
and
did
he grabbed the
didn't
knife from
die?
her and stabbed her 3 times. She escaped because she ran onto the street, and a car picked her up, and then she went to the police station, and they treated her wounds. And then the police came to his house, and he was covered in blood, and he claimed that it was self-defense because he was trying to rob him.
Yeah.
And then they had to look into it, and that's why it took so long for them to like actually process it. It's like
Oh shit.
shit, yeah.
How the fuck did he survive that?
You can take a shot to the jugular,
can't
but he
take a
was
shot to the
bleeding like a lot.
You can't take a shot to the
You
jugular.
can
You
take
cannot
it-
stitch the jugular.
You can see, yeah, he
This is-
survived.
you
He's
never
still
watch-
alive.
You don't ever watch it. You don't mess with the Zohan, man.
Oh my god.
If you're not careful,
I don't know if
I will.
take
If you're not
medical
careful
advice
and you
from the
move
Zohan.
around, I will slit your jugular. You do not want this.
No, the jugular is just like your blood, a lot of blood
So
flow.
this happened in 1997,
Mhm.
what you're talking about, and you're right. He stabbed him and stuff, and they still were refusing to like kind of look at
Look
this.
into it.
Yeah,
And
okay.
It wasn't until 2004 because they'd seized the items, And then they went back to it 7 years after the stabbing, and 2 years after.
It's one of those cops that's like, this
2
is
years
we gotta
after
reopen
his
the case.
arrest. And then
Okay.
the results revealed the DNA of the 2 women who vanished in 1997, and they had DNA from
This man's using
10
the same-
women that
same
was
knife?
found in his freezer.
Yeah.
And
And then
they
they was
started
like, the only reason they looked into it too was because when they went to the farm, there was women's like he had like their purses and
Belongings,
shit
yeah.
all everywhere. And then they were like, okay, maybe like we should actually look at those. Yeah. And then the 2 DNA, and then they went to his thing, and there was actually a body hanging, I think, still in the freezer when they caught him. And then they did the DNA testing, and then they found that shit.
It's suspected that
Um,
65
How
did they not
women
make a show
could
off
have been
this?
victims.
They probably
Like,
have,
that's
but like,
65.
yeah.
Huh?
Possible 65.
Yeah, up to 65
Yeah,
people.
that's
But he said he only killed up to 50.
Yeah.
And he said that's what he said. And then also the
Brother got
Vancouver
another
Police
15.
Department had the dude who was doing the FBI like because killers have like a profile. Like they're
Yeah.
profiling, like police profiling shit. They had the dude who spearheaded that entire thing for the FBI and went around the world and like sold it to other like police departments. They had him working at the Vancouver Police Department when this was going on, and they didn't do
Damn.
anything about it. They literally got him. They literally were going out of the way to get him fired, and he only left because he was just like,
Yeah.
well, there's no point. Nobody else is gonna look into this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like fucked. Like the reason, like he shouldn't even have gotten 50 bodies, like because he was like,
Exactly,
and he
yeah.
was saying that like the only reason I got caught was because I was sloppy,
Yeah.
and he was like, and it was like, but he was like,
but that's because he was getting away with
but
it.
he was but he was like kind of he was meticulous to a point. Like there was a point where like he wouldn't put like human hands, femurs, like certain parts that were like distinctly human,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't bring that to the plant. But like he was still sloppy sometimes. He like still easily could have gotten caught in any other situation. And it's crazy because the Vancouver Police Department just didn't give a fuck because there was like, yo, like we're not gonna look into this. And there was like, I think at the height of the 90s, there was like 8 prolific serial killers at the time. There's
going
another
on.
big name serial killer working at the same time. He used to know Robert Pickton because he used to go to his farm and go to party and shit like that. It's crazy, like super crazy, like how like there shouldn't have been that many murders. And then like
yeah.
after this happened, they had a complete overhaul of the police department because they were like, yeah, this can never happen again. It was so fucked.
Like, how do you get into that?
Like, I think
Department
No,
or...
like killing people like that.
his
So, police
case,
department.
yeah, his case
I
was
guess,
like
you're right.
Robert grew up like he grew up on a pig farm. So
and it
he
was
grew
only
up,
prostitutes, right?
yeah, I believe so. It was mostly only prostitutes. There's
You would
another
pay them.
killer in something like Pillsbury or some shit in Pittsburgh they thought only killed prostitutes, but he would kill random people, and he made a lot of videos of it. I can't remember what the movie. They have a movie about it too, but he would film all that shit. But Robert Pickton grew up on like a pig farm, so he would smell like shit. All the kids obviously were just like, deviate away from him. So he grew up like alone and attached to his mother for a long time. His dad never really was in the picture. He was just like kind of like an asshole to him, like just very abusive. And so then like his dad died. His mom died a few years later and was literally like, his mom put in the will that he can't leave the farm for 10 or 20 years or until he's 40 or something like that to receive his inheritance. And he got a large cut. Like he got like millions of dollars because their family was rich. Like because they bought this huge land in Coquitlam or whatever. Coquitlam. Yeah. They had this huge plot of land.
That's literally like not far from Burnaby.
Yeah, like he would they bought up like a big plot of land and they would sell pieces of it for like millions and millions of dollars because they had so much land of it. And yeah, like he was rich, like they were filthy rich, but they were just like farmers, like dirty farmers. And like he got into it because it was like, well, like the theory is that like he felt like he was doing like justice to them. You know what I mean? It's like he would take prostitutes who were heavy drug users and be like, well, if you didn't do drugs, like, like you can come to my place and then you won't do drugs and you'll be clean. You know what I mean? But if they did drugs, which obviously would smoke crack and heroin and shit like that, because that's what's big there, he would kill them pretty much off of that. And he knew they were going to do it, right? Because they were heavy prostitutes.
So he'd have it there?
So he wouldn't have it there, but they're going to carry it with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like, they're going to smoke crack. And he already knew that they were going to fucking do it. So he would like, maybe he would do it one time and they didn't do it there, but he would know he would see them again, right? Because he would always hang out in that same area all the time. So it was like, oh, like all these prostitutes, because like I believe the render, I think it's called a rendering plant. The rendering plant was in that same area that like East Hastings was in.
Mm-hmm.
So he would go to the rendering plant, go down there, see that person smoking crack, buy them essentially, pay them for the night, and then kill them, and then same cycle over and over. So you can rack up bodies, especially if the police aren't looking into
Exactly. No one like
Like,
they-
you know what I mean?
Nobody's looking for somebody
Yeah.
that's sitting on East Hastings smoking crack.
it. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like you could rack up like, even if there's like, say, like lightly 1,000 prostitutes are in the East Hastings area, you know what I mean? And on a good night, 250 plus, you could pull every single day of the week a person, right? You
Yeah.
could kill 365 days. You could kill every person every
day,
single day,
like
right?
you said, and you're just going to dispose the last one and pick up a new one.
Yeah, and he was like, and the
That's
thing was
fucked
like,
up,
he
man.
would,
Yeah.
he'd stop for so long, like he'd stop for a while, and then he would get back into it,
Yeah.
right? He would stop for 2 years, like, and that's
Break
pretty
the
natural,
cycle.
and that's what they do, right? They
Yeah.
stop for a while and then they do it again. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's
Did
crazy.
they really stop though? Like, that's so crazy. Like, you watch You?
No, that's the one with like the stalker, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's like you watch You. What do you think? Like that mind state, because he becomes a serial killer, even if he wasn't a serial killer.
Yeah.
In like, I'm not trying to ruin it, but like, this guy, that's like obviously the plot of
Yeah.
the show. Like, he's justifying it obviously as he's doing it for like reasons, like for love or for this or for that, like that righteous shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes
Like,
back to entitlement.
It's
I
just
think.
like, yeah.
To
Right?
to an extent, because like it's just like people twist.
Are
It's like
they-
the twisted way of looking at life.
Are they
right?
mentally unstable?
Usually,
I think
there's
so,
almost like, even if they don't know it or people want to admit, like they are always mentally unstable. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like you can't, like, especially like if you look at a situation like he was emotionally attached to his mother, didn't have a lot of friends outside of his family, right? Wasn't attached, didn't have a father figure really there. So it's
Yeah.
like this is the breeding ground for like, psychopathy and like sociopathy to evolve and grow in a person without them even realizing it. You know what I mean? So like, and his brother would always like essentially be the face for him. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody was always like, Robert was fucking weird. He was nice. A lot of ladies would be like, he's nice, but he's fucking like every guy would be like, he's fucking weird. Like he's a weird dude, and he had a bad temper. So like, you know what I mean? Like that's just like a breeding ground for like this guy could easily be a serial killer, right? And like that's the other thing. Like, it's always like,
It's always a trauma. Like, they've just gone through such trauma. Like every story, any written serial killer, or you know what I'm saying, like, has that childhood trauma that has led them to fall into this dark path where they think that either they're helping themselves or helping other people. Or whatever the
Yes.
fucking case
And
is,
yes, that's the case. Like even sometimes, but like some people will grow up in like a perfectly normal, somewhat normal household, but
Yeah.
there's just like a dynamic that exists in it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a power dynamic that exists between them, their mother, their father. You know what? That puts them in this dividend like mentally, so they feel like they always feel like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like they know how to like manipulate and twist people in such a way that they could do things to them or make them do certain things. You know what I mean? So it's just like very like, yeah, like nobody's ever well. If you're well killing people, like it's just like there's something something wrong with you in general, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm trying to remember what your other question was before. Yeah, like serial killers will always stop killing. It's just a natural thing. They always kill the most, I think, around holiday time, so Christmas, New Year's, because it's easy to pick people off, right? But like
doing some research, man. Let's go.
that's like a I think I kind of knew that too beforehand, but like that's just like that's a fact. Like serial killers will always do it because it's just like you can't constantly be killing because you'll get caught, right?
Yeah.
Or they have like a moment of like like almost like a moment of clarity where they're like, I need to just stop for a minute. Like they get scared or like something happens in their life where they like kind of like calm down, where they don't need to actually do that, go out of the way and kill people.
It's like a fucking urge. Like, I don't understand.
Not even like an urge, more like
It seems like a defense almost.
like, you know, when you're single and you feel like you're like, oh, you know, I need to fuck. You know what I mean? It's almost like that.
That's
you know,
an
it's
urge.
not even like an
That
urge,
is
but
an
like
urge.
it's just like
Yeah.
I guess it's wrong.
Yeah, like, you know, when you're single and you feel like you need to fuck. I feel like that when I'm in a relationship. I still feel like I need
more
to
like
fuck.
it's more like an undertone. Like
urge.
you have, if somebody in your life comes and they're good to you and they're nice, it's like, okay, like you almost treat it like, okay, like I can be okay. I don't need to kill people.
Well, it's like a rumble. You like a slow like groan, like always droning in
Like-
your mind. Like everybody they meet, they shake hands with. They're like,
no,
can slit
think
your
of it
throat.
like a dependence. Like it's not like I don't want to put it in like an
Like-
urge where you feel like you need to do it. It's like when things change in your life that are where your life feels good, you don't feel the necessary need to like
Yeah.
justify.
Because that was like a way to vent or a way to.
Yeah,
I
like,
feel like it's more like a power thing. How
Yeah.
they can always
Mhm.
feel like they have control. Because a lot of these serial killers are like people who have been like looked down in society, or
Yeah.
like they've been talked down to and
Yeah.
stuff. So it gives them that like way of thinking of, even if they're like not killing somebody and they're talking to somebody who's talking down to them, he's like thinking in his head like, you don't even know I could like
Yeah,
kill
I
you
could
right
kill
now.
you.
I
Yeah.
can
I
could
have
be
that power.
Yeah, I'm dominant in this
Yeah.
situation no
Mhm.
matter what, because you don't know what I'm
Yeah.
capable of.
yeah,
Just kind of puts them in that
yeah.
dominant position.
Yeah,
overall
and that's the
in their
thing. I
mind.
mean, it's obviously different for every person
Yeah.
too, right? So like it can really change. I think it is, yeah, like definitely like a power dynamic where it's just like I feel like this way, and things can change where it's like, okay, I feel like stable maybe for a little bit, so I don't need to justify killing these people, or like
Yeah.
I don't need to do it. You know what I mean? I don't need to correct or be righteous in the sense. You know what I mean?
But it's crazy because there's some of those people that like want to like not do it anymore. They think it's like they do it once and then they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I want to get better. But it's like once you do it the first time, it is so easy to do it again because you've already done it before. You've already gone through it. It's like once
Yeah.
you break that,
Broken that
first
And it's like
time,
it's a rush, right? Like the first time you kill somebody, it's gonna be an experience that like you'll
Like, how
not
else would
anybody
you
else could
experience
experience it.
man.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It is
Yeah.
like genuinely.
Yeah,
it's actually
Malcom.
genuinely
It's,
like a yeah.
It's adrenaline. Yeah.
You're talking like you've killed many people.
Yeah.
that experience.
But
Are
it
you
is,
one of
though,
the
but,
two
like-
serial killers? That's why you know that there's two.
I was going with everything else, but in the tone you said that, that was very serial killer. Like,
No, but like they
The
like
rush
it
you
is
get
the
from
rush,
ending
the
a
rush
life.
from
Oh, I get to
No
love
one
rush
should
from
know
holding that
that.
knife.
I love to
Yeah.
see the light go.
yeah.
Yeah, shit. But like
None
that's
of
what
you
it is, though.
No, none of you.
I
know.
mean, yeah. I never
But,
tried
like-
something like that.
Like I watch House with my mom,
Yeah.
and like I watch these certain scenes where the surgeon's like cutting in, and I'm like, oh, I don't want
Yeah.
to see that.
There's no
So
way I
even
could
to like
kill somebody.
kill
like that.
somebody, see the blood, take
Chop
all
them
that
up,
in.
yeah.
Put them
If
in
I
a
can-
meat grinder.
You have to be
process
in a
them.
different mental state.
Well,
to-
some-
That's
Yeah.
it's why it's
That-
a like that's why like you were describing like that's probably how they, like it's
But,
so
but here's the thing.
I would
No,
throw
no, no,
up.
no. But here's the thing. You've killed somebody, accidentally. You didn't mean to.
that's
You're in
different.
a fit of rage, emotional, whatever.
Mhm.
Like you meant to. You did it. You like grabbed something and whacked him in the fucking head. But
Yeah.
you have that moment of regret, right?
Ah.
You're standing over a body. Now you're like, you're gonna go. You freak out. You're gonna be like, I need to fix this. You're gonna start chopping that shit up. You're gonna start cutting it. You're gonna start shoving it in an oven. You're gonna
Ooh.
start fucking throwing it in the furnace. You're gonna.
I don't
do
know
on
about
this
that.
shit.
No, but
that's not my first
I'm
choice.
saying you're gonna start going in being irrational. You're gonna start doing shit that you're not
I
gonna.
mean, if I
you
was
would never
completely in the
ever
wrong,
did.
then yeah, probably I'd just go right off the deep end. Like if I was the one that
Yeah.
came up to some guy and just beat
Well,
him to
well,
death, it
yeah,
was
well,
like,
like-
oh, I'm an idiot, and then
Well, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like,
But,
if
like,
you
yeah,
just
I
fucking flipped out.
That's the
Yeah.
thing
But-
though. Like there's still levels in my mind. Like if I killed
You
him,
think-
there's a difference of like taking his body, throwing it in my trunk, going like burying it, to like literally dismembering him. I'm like taking
Well,
his
yeah, no,
fucking
100%.
legs. I'm
I
that's
totally
next level.
agree.
I'm
I-
not gonna do.
I
But
totally
yeah,
agree
and
like
and that's the
that
thing.
ever.
Like
I totally
if-
agree, but that's where I'm saying like there are some people that are panic mode.
Mm.
If you kill somebody broad daylight by accident,
that's
and
but that's
like, you know what
that.
I'm
See,
saying?
but like
yeah,
that's
somebody's gonna fucking panic and they're gonna leave the body in their basement for you know what I'm saying for how long, and then like they're just gonna let it leave. They leave it there and they're just gonna eventually fucking
yeah.
go crazy.
Yeah.
That
But,
they
like,
have this
that's-
body in their
I
basement,
think that's
or
what like differentiates like killers from like
regular people.
actual like a murder by like murder by
Exactly.
like there's like murder in
Premeditation,
passion where it's
yeah.
like if like women whose husbands will beat
Cheating
them
and-
constantly,
yeah.
Yeah.
right? They'll pull out a gun and kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a murder out of passion because it's like it's the
Abuse.
psychological abuse
Yeah.
has caused them to get to a point where like they
Snap.
did this
It was the only way.
They felt like this was the only way they could escape. And oftentimes when people have like they murder people out of like rage or like an emotion, they black out.
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
one
They
thing
don't
about
even
it.
know.
They won't remember it. You'll just be like, oh, like
You'll
exactly
wake
like,
up.
oh shit, what happened, right? And then it's like covering up.
Yeah.
It's like oh shit, this body's dead. I'm gonna go dump it in the fucking ocean and
Yeah.
then clean out my car
Yeah.
and then do that type of shit.
Burn
you know what
my
I mean?
car.
Yeah,
do this.
see?
And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. You start to get crazy.
And then like
and then
yeah.
day by day, you get more and more paranoid, and you become a shut-in, and like that's like a regular person.
Yeah,
A
and like
fucking serial killer goes and looks for the next body.
yeah,
Yeah.
100% because there's
Like,
a
that's
justification of
fucking
it.
crazy.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, sorry.
You're talking about after you kill one person, does
Yeah.
that lead to other people? I think this is kind of a good lead-in to the Alec Baldwin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because he killed somebody, but that was
I don't know
fully
if he's gonna
unintentional.
kill other
No, he's
people.
not gonna go in.
I
That's
hope-
not a rush.
But
That would be
you
crazy.
gotta rush. That's a rush, right?
That is a rush. 100%. That's a rush.
Yeah,
But it's like an
Imagine-
emotional.
That's an
this is
emotionally
tea
distraught. That's
to-
Could you imagine?
traumatizing.
He's
Yeah.
actually a serial killer.
No, but
and that was
he-
the first time he killed
but-
on camera because it was the most exciting thing he could
Oh,
ever
oh
do.
my God.
Getting
That
away.
That would
with
be
it.
fucking crazy.
That would be like a
Incredible.
super villain.
That would
yeah.
be.
That would be
No.
incredible.
Yeah, no,
But
like,
like,
that
for-
shit's-
but when you think about like the reality of that situation,
Yeah.
he pulled that trigger and he immediately started screaming and crying.
Yeah.
And because he's an actor. He's
What are
not
you
a-
supposed to-
he,
Yeah.
As much as he's played a badass or he's played this or he's that, he's a fucking actor.
Yeah.
Actors are very soft
Yeah.
and very malleable people because they have to be able
Yeah.
to feel
And you have
emotion.
to think about.
You kill somebody
Yeah.
by accident that
Yeah.
has nothing to do with anything. They're trying to help your whole fucking thing.
Well, alone, it's just traumatic.
Well,
in
you
general,
killed
like,
somebody.
super.
Now you're
traumatic.
putting and then you put the fact that you've seen them every single day. You think of the
Yeah.
memories. You think of all the shit. He's probably a really good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like that's immediately what I thought was like, damn, he's gonna be fucked up for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
Because I can't imagine that moment. Because like,
That's what I'm saying.
there's
Shaking.
got to be such a huge delay for you to realize this is actually real
That's
life.
what I'm saying. You pull the
Right?
trigger and you're just like, wait
You're
a
still
second.
going.
You're like, wait a second, and you look at the gun, everything's shaking, everything starts to become real. It's like, wait, that person's dead.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, why
Yeah.
is everybody screaming?
I don't even know exactly what. Like I
There's,
know
that nobody's released any
Yeah.
real.
well, I
it's
think
just
what
a
it was,
text
he was
message.
shooting a gun, and
Yeah,
it was
well,
like that's
yeah.
probably a projectile,
It's
like
blanks.
by
So
accident.
what happened was it was blanks, and there's a bunch of theories, and there's somebody who sent like a text to like somebody and made it on 4chan, and it became this big thing. But somebody on set, like the prop master,
Uh-huh.
whoever was dealing with the props, was firing live rounds in the gun before, like, or in between takes, is apparently what they said. We don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is 100% true. This is
How
what I
would you
heard
be
on.
firing
idea.
live.
This is
rounds?
what I heard. This is what I heard on Internet Today, and that's where I get a lot of my shit from, because they usually don't.
Oh,
They
I
usually
heard.
don't fuck
Oh,
their shit
now
up.
we
But
know.
like, but also like,
it's the internet.
this is
Yeah.
but that's what a lot of people have said, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently, one of the rounds was still in there. They didn't clear the whole chamber. Like they might have unloaded the gun, but there might have been one in the chamber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then they might have put the blanks in, and boom, first one you pull is still a fucking live bullet, and
Could have been a plot. Maybe they're trying to frame Alex.
or
That's
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, it's a whole bunch of shit. They have no real idea as to what happened.
Yeah, and I mean, sorry, but like that's just like kind of like brings in the whole thing. It's like that's what differentiates like somebody from like an actual killer. Like
Yeah.
think of like Black Dahlia as like a world famous like Hollywood killer. He would dismember people, literally like surgically take people's guts apart, pull their legs apart. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
really fucked up shit like that. And like the murders are always so extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so extra. Like the
They'll like
that
cut someone up and sew them back together.
yeah, like that
Yeah.
dude I was mentioning from
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Film like he would
Yeah,
film them.
filming
He
it.
would watch like do like really fucked up like sexual like
Yeah.
tie them in their basement like film all that shit like put them through like torture essentially.
I feel yeah,
terrifying,
because like
man.
you're totally right, and that's why some of these serial killers get away for so long, because it's like they go after certain groups that
they
people
know
aren't that
Yeah.
concerned with.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if it was a serial killer going after young people in
Yeah.
their early 20s, then we'd all be on lookout. There'd be things out, be a huge manhunt on it. But when
Yeah.
it's just going against prostitutes or certain gay people
Yeah.
at certain
Drug
times
like-
and stuff like that,
or,
people
yeah.
on drugs,
Yeah.
certain class,
I mean, it was the
then-
same shit with the Gabby Petito case where it's like that shit blew up and it's
Fuck
like,
was
yeah,
that?
it's that chick that went to BC, what was it, BC?
Oh,
yeah,
whatever.
with that van. Like,
Yeah.
The van
And then
life.
she disappeared or whatever.
Well, did you
and
see
it's
what
like,
happened
it's
to
like,
the guy?
no,
He
ran
found his
away.
body in the swampland.
Did they find his body?
Yeah,
he's dead.
Eaten by probably alligators and shit.
Oh,
He's probably killed himself.
Yeah, I think he killed himself.
Probably jumped in. Probably by the like alligator, or either he killed
Really?
himself and like
I feel like he would have killed himself. He seems
died
like
in
a
the thing,
pussy.
or he was high, like trying to hide and like got lost.
Yeah.
So I saw it on the internet, like the Internet Today guys, and they're like, look at the Google Maps of Florida. Like, look at it.
Yeah.
It's all swamp.
Yeah.
It is like there's the coast where everybody lives.
Yeah, and then
And
it's marsh and
swamp, and the Everglades, huge.
Yeah.
All alligators, all just like deep fucking waters. You have to be on like one of those wind boats just to
Yeah.
like traverse through the shit. I like going even like in fucking a mile into that shit.
Yeah.
Can't survive anywhere in the wilderness in fucking Florida. So for him, that was just a suicide whole
Yeah.
thing.
But it
He
was the
probably
same-
killed her
Yeah.
in some fit of rage
Yeah.
by accident.
Yeah,
Probably, and then, you know
probably
what I'm
wasn't
saying?
premeditated. It didn't seem planned at all.
Where was the body found? Like in the woods or some shit?
Yeah.
It was
like-
found. I think it was Utah. I think that's
Yeah,
where
it
they
was-
were, something like that.
It was
or
out,
like
and,
Wyoming.
like they
or
went,
some shit.
they went camping or some shit. Lived in the van.
Yeah, they were
Then
doing
he
a
came
whole-
back home to
by
his
him-
parents by himself
with
and with
no
like no
mention
like
of
mention,
her,
just like,
yeah.
oh, everything's fine. Oh, she didn't make it back. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
Everyone's
weird.
Like, where is she? And he's just
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he
Lawyers up, fucking
told his parents that he was going somewhere, like told them where he was really going.
Yeah.
That's how they found his body, because the cops went to where his parents told him where he'd be, and then they found like the remains.
Yeah.
So he probably
Yeah.
killed himself, and then he got eaten.
Anybody
by a
can live in a
alligator.
van as a sociopath. So
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
like done.
That's
But
right.
I knew that from
It's
day
kind
one.
of like the same shit where the one white YouTuber person, all of a sudden blows up. That case is huge. Everyone's crazy, and it's like there's so many people of color missing, so many like Aboriginal people missing, all going under the radar, and that's why serial killers.
Yeah, even
choose those
talk about like
people.
when Robert picked in like during that time in LA all the black prostitutes were all being killed too, and
Yeah.
around that same time period
Yeah.
tune, and it took them forever to find the dude who was doing
Yeah,
it. You know what I
they
mean?
didn't care.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
And that's the thing, like too, like if it was like, like you look at like the Zodiac killer, like that was like it was
Yeah.
so random, and it was white people. It was such a
Yeah.
mixture of people that like sure they're always gonna like police are on this dude. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But talk about that was black people, anybody else, right? Like they just don't give
Under
a
the
shit,
radar,
right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, well, we start pulling on one string, then it's gonna be all this other things, and we don't
Yeah.
want to get into all this shit. You know what I mean? That was like the thing with like Vancouver. They're like, well, if we have to fix this one, then we gotta fix that one.
Exactly.
We got all this shit.
Oh, so
We
you gotta do
figure
your
out
fucking
drug
job.
problems,
Yeah,
and
literally, you
then-
literally have to go out of your
So
way.
you gotta
do
go
your
and do
job.
your job. You gotta go
Yeah.
fix the crime. You gotta go do your job.
Yeah, and I was like, that's the thing too. Like the dudes who were talking on the podcast was like, isn't that like what you go to fucking work? Like you're a
Literally.
detective, and you have not one, like multiple killers. I would go to every day and be like, yo, I got 6 theories from last night. I don't know
Yeah,
what
let's
we
string
Yeah.
this up on the
Yeah, you know
phone.
what I
that's
mean?
what-
Like
you
that's
know
the
what?
one time in
But
your
you
time.
know what it is? It's one cop,
Yeah.
or it's 2 cops, or it's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the show. It's
Yeah.
it's real. That's because they write that shit because our police officers like that. But it's majority of the time, the station or the district or whatever it is being like, case is closed. Like,
Yeah, like
leave
Don't
it
look
rest.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Leave it
and
alone. Leave
and
it
it's
alone.
a lot of things. Like
The
definitely,
mayor's son, leave it alone. This is
Yeah.
our funding. Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying?
this is a
It's-
political. If
it's
you played LA
political,
Noir,
yeah.
it's a political figure. Don't
It's
worry about it.
This
crazy
is a
that
what is
crime
what
system
is
is
Dr.
political.
Umar say?
Senators.
What did Dr. Umar say?
What?
This is
Not a government
this is
funded.
not a government funded event.
I have the right to discriminate.
Oh my god.
But like, yeah, that's the thing too. Especially if like policing. If you're in a policing and then the people from above are also telling you not to look into some shit, I'm like, you know what I
That's
mean?
where,
I'm getting
yeah.
fired and looking into something.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
You know what? That's what I mean.
Like,
Those are good cops, or those are good people.
Yeah.
Not good cops. I don't believe there are good cops,
No.
but I believe there are good people in those positions.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, they'll try to do as much as they can, and then they get shut down.
Yeah,
or
but if the
whatever.
limitations are
Yeah.
bad, like if they make you a bad systematically like bad, then.
But a lot of people
Yeah,
don't.
and you know what?
Not
It's-
everybody's a vigilante though.
that's the crazy thing too is like in this case too, like the RCMP have a bad track history with anybody who's not white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they were looking more into this case than the fucking like Vancouver police were looking into this case too as well, right?
Yeah.
But like like it's crazy to think that like especially if like you can't be the hooded, nobody can be the Batman.
No.
Hooded vigilante looking into their own shit, got millions of dollars to spend looking into murders,
unless
right?
you're fucking a billionaire trying to live 2 lives, trying to be Iron Man.
Billionaire ain't that smart.
But that's what I mean.
It is-
Look at Elon Musk. He's just trying to get to the moon.
Stupid,
He's
should go to
Mars.
Mars.
What the fuck, man?
Nigga can't even go on the moon, bro. You
Yeah.
talking about Mars?
He's talking about that's what I'm saying. This nigga ain't got to the moon yet.
That's what I mean. That was something I never understood was like the obsession with going to Mars. When it's just like we haven't even like colonized the moon. The moon is the
Yeah.
closest thing you should be. If
Yeah.
you can colonize the moon,
That
which
shit's
has
a part of Earth,
That,
wasn't it at one point?
That was NASA's old plan.
Yeah.
Moon, Mars, and beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna
They just
create
nigga
a
just walked
launch
right
pad.
over moon, man.
Yeah, they're gonna create a launch pad on the moon so they could go off to Mars, and they're
Yeah.
gonna set up their base there and go
There,
beyond.
and on the moon,
Abandon that.
there are valuable things on the moon. Everybody says
Footprints.
there is nothing on the moon. There's something on the moon. You mine the
An
moon.
American flag.
If the
yeah.
moon, if the theory is correct, and the moon is essentially a part of the
Real.
Earth
yeah.
that has been broken off and
That's where Bitcoin
flown.
comes from, I heard.
yeah. We're mining the moon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where. Yeah.
Gotta mine the moon, man. That's what I'm saying. Bitcoin to the
That's
moon.
what they mean. To the moon.
To the
That's what they
moon.
mean.
That's what they mean, man. We gotta go there and mine it for real.
That's what
Yeah.
Bitcoin
But even if you
is.
Set up
like,
a
even
couple
if there's
computer
nothing
bases.
on the moon, the elevation of having a spot from space that you can launch from
Yeah.
and refuel
Out of orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely without having to break the fucking like the magnetic pull of the planet, the gravitational force
Well, you
that's
still have
against
to.
you.
Yeah.
No, you do, but not from the ground.
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah.
space. You
At
know what I'm
that
saying?
point,
At least
yeah.
you're the amount of fuel you can save. Because
Yeah.
you do have to get from there to there, obviously. But to refuel on the moon and go even farther, that's not a problem to get to Mars. It's
Yeah,
not a
or
problem to
even
get to-
just like it's almost like you can treat the moon like a warehouse. You literally could store everything you need there as long as you possibly could need it because you could freeze it. The temperature wise, like it's not gonna nearly be as bad as being
the
on Mars.
only way that we could ever live on the moon is if we completely isolated the moon with a dome and then
Yeah.
created our own ecosystem inside of it.
Yeah, we'd literally have to build a planet.
Yeah.
essentially.
It literally have to
that's-
be a planet.
yeah.
That's a wild.
And that would
That'd be
be
cool.
a lot of work. But you would, and it's like you have to think of that. Like even if we had to like terraform a planet, we couldn't do any other planet. It's like the amount of work it would take for us to
Venus?
do it would be insane.
Yeah.
Venus is really the only one that there's like some theory I
Oh.
read. It's like
Crazy.
millions of years.
Billions
But
of
like
yeah,
it would be the most Earth-like
Oh.
yeah, because they were talking about like you have
because
to.
they reach the greenhouse gas effect. That like if getting to if we
Yeah.
do to like it just is a big cloud of gas. But like taking all of that out like little by little over
Yeah.
millions of years, it'll turn into an actual like oasis.
Yeah, you would have to like because you have to cool down the planet, pump out all the greenhouse gases. You have to balance out the atmosphere, and then that over time
And
you
you
have to
can't
wait
even-
for things to grow.
Yeah, you can't even just cool it down and just like, oh, there we go. Like, you have to pump out the greenhouse gas because if you let that shit if you don't get it all out and it melts, like, let's say we have glaciers here,
Yeah.
there's greenhouse gases and there's diseases and there's shit
Yeah.
trapped in our glaciers here that once it melts, comes upon the Earth
Yeah.
is gonna fucking kill everybody or fuck shit up.
exactly.
That being trapped in something like Venus, could come out by one little global warming spell, boom, the whole population on Venus is dead because it becomes this the air literally is corrosive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just like such a hard task, but these things are you have to look into it.
I'm not down.
There's
for it.
fires trapped in the ice. Man.
I'll die.
Fires?
Fires trapped in the ice.
What are you talking about?
Global warming, bro.
Okay, all right.
Fires trapped
All
in
right.
the ice. Ice is gonna melt, and it's gonna release
Alright, we
the
go.
fires.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break.
We go. Do you want to take a break? Or you want to cut here?
We'll take a break.
We're gonna take a break. All right, we're gonna take a break.
Which one's cut?
Come back for.
We just got work done.
Yeah.
We would have an economy 6 times stronger than any country in the world, right?
Like even like with the new laws that U.S. has put in, that Biden put in, with all the rebates for electric cars. Like, sure, you look at it like this is great for the future.
Yeah.
He's making it so cheap, But there's problems coming up now where Canada and a lot of people in the G6 summit are complaining because the rebates that he gives for like U.S. made electric cars and stuff pretty much make it like Canada's not able to make their own and sell it in there, and that's kind of breaking the North American free trade agreement.
Yeah.
And doing that, so they're running
NAFTA.
problems with that. Yeah.
Yeah, they love having fun with that.
Fucking
The U.S.
NAFTA.
has they have a huge leverage in that too. That's the thing with like they always like sign really good collective bargaining agreements with us in Mexico. They have like fucking crazy. Like I think if we trade any good, we can't ever stop trading any good. That's why we don't trade like fresh water to the States, because if we traded fresh water to the
you
States,
can't stop.
we would not be able to stop.
Yeah.
because
We'd have
of
no
that
fresh
thing.
water.
Yeah, and we
There's
run out.
300 and fucking. That's like, what is it? 3 times. How many times is the population of the States? It's 24 million people.
Yeah, it's like 10 times. They have like 300. Yeah, we only have like 33 million people, so it's almost
We have
like
a
10
very
times.
small amount of people in Canada. To give up all of our fresh water. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
know-
we'd run out of water.
I know that we
Yeah.
have
We have the most fresh
a
water
lot
in the
of
world,
land.
I think.
Yeah.
and the most fresh water in the world.
I think so. Like we're one
We
of
have a
the
lot
top.
of reserves that we still haven't tapped into ever
Yeah.
underground
Yeah.
shit like that. But like, that's a lot of resources in terms of anything.
Especially fresh water is like a resource. You know what I mean? It's a resource that
It's
like
a hot
like,
commodity.
yeah, like if we sold water, we could sell water for hundreds of like millions of dollars by the barrel
Yeah.
if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I
To
mean?
Africa.
And if I'm not mistaken,
Jeez.
that's how a lot
Sorry.
of our like pressure like mining for oils
Mhm.
in the rigs. That's how they do it. They inject like water. They drill down underneath
Yeah,
kind
and
of
then
these
they
things, and they inject water and they bring it up, and then they separate the water from the oil
Oh,
and
interesting.
stuff. And so that's been
That's what
a
ruins a
climate
lot of
issue.
our fucking water.
Because
Yeah, this
that uses a
shit-ass
lot of
oil.
water, but it gives us our energy.
Man,
Yeah.
let me tell you
It's a
something.
trade-off.
Put that
Would
solar
they be
panel.
using fresh water though?
Yeah.
Because that's our
You,
supply.
yeah,
right?
you
We
can't
have-
you can't use salt water in a process like that
Yeah.
because like
'Cause then,
chemically
yeah,
it's
trying
different.
Yeah.
to take salt water out of that is just.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to try to take salt and then
And
also
then all the
separate the water,
water-
and then
Yeah.
also separate the oil.
You would have to take the salt water and then turn it into fresh water and then use it, and
That's
that would be so
yeah,
expensive.
and it costs
yeah.
like I think it costs Mexico. Who was looking into? I think Mexico was looking into distillation, which is like taking water, evaporating it, and letting the fresh water drip down.
Yeah.
That costed them like hundreds of millions of
Yes.
dollars to do something
Jeez.
like
very,
that.
very expensive.
So like it's pricey. So it's like, well, we have all this fresh water, we might as well use it. That's why like oil is like one of the worst to use water. And on top of that, any oil spill you make literally takes them years to clean up.
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
years, bro. They're still cleaning up oil spills.
They still
Yeah.
clean up. Yeah, and it's not even just that. It's like the effects, right? Because they either burn the oil on top of the
Yeah.
water, right? That's one way they get rid of.
Kill
And then they have to
fucking-
clean all the beach sides
Yeah.
on the front too
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
right? So it's like,
and it depending on how long it takes that shit'll just travel.
Yep.
So it'll be gone by the time it'll be gone hundreds of
Well,
kilometers.
entire ecosystems will forever be like affected by it. Like yeah.
It's
mhm.
fucking crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just for some energy, bro. You think that's worth it, man?
No.
No.
I'm not a
I'm
big
just fucking-
supporter for the oil fields, but I did see this video this one time. It was up north somewhere in the oil sands, and because that's where they dig, and the oil is mixed in with these sands, and there's this river going through, and there's this huge like bank. The whole walls were like filled the oil sands,
Yeah.
and it was like literally seeping out of the sand into the water.
yeah.
Oh.
And they're purifying that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
Oh
the
my
thing with
God.
oil companies, like, they don't really there's no, like, environmental regulations other than the fact that, like, you can't poison people, but if you poison them, you can essentially reimburse them, right? So people, like, live in a community, and then the oil sands affects them in one way or another. Oil companies will literally, like, pull $100 million out of the pocket, pay every single person off,
Yeah.
or pay off the politicians or whatever, like reimburse them in some way or another in the future. Like think about like you know how like you see those commercials for like medicine. You took
Yeah.
Vaseline
Yeah,
in
yeah,
2008,
yeah.
and if you have cancer, you are
Vaseline.
into, you know what I mean?
You're
Like shit.
entitled to a
I reimburse. Yeah.
A lump sum settlement.
Yeah.
That kind of shit doesn't happen until the government looks into it, and then they start to be like, oh, well, this actually was a thing. And then they go to the corporation and are like, well, you have to reimburse these people. Okay, cool. Here's $1 million that you have to spread between 200 1,000 people. You know what I mean? And then everybody has to get their own cut, and then you have to trace it back to people, and then you have to verify people's stories. You know what I mean? So it's a whole process in itself.
Well, look back to the beginning of the pandemic on podcasts. I found this out about how there was a whole restriction with our guidelines because of the what.
Oh yeah.
They want to get banned from YouTube, but and companies weren't during this time with the whole lockdown and everything. They weren't getting regulated for their environment output, and they were there's no regulations on how much they dumped into the Fort Saskatchewan River. And I work at Sherwood Ford, and literally I found this out, and I was watching, and every day those factories were going, and they were just black soot into the air.
Yeah.
And normally you would see that on some weekends and stuff, and they're just going full time. I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
I know who's really benefiting
because they're making up because nobody was driving, nobody was trying to they were they in their head they're well.
Mm-hmm. Well, because at that time everybody was getting their CERB checks, everybody was getting their rebates, and at the same time companies, because businesses were getting locked down and stuff, so they were getting a whole bunch of tax breaks, and things were getting suspended due to this.
Jeez.
And a lot of those just flew under the radar because everybody was what's gonna happen with me and my job?
Fuck. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
That's so disgusting, man.
Mm-hmm.
That shit, I would always see those, just seeing those buildings. I know it's the power for the entire city. I get it. But it's just, the amount that when you sit there and you watch it, the clouds of fucking just shit that's flying into the sky. I used to think as a kid that those things made clouds. When I was really young. Just because that's how they looked.
Yeah.
It would just come out and it would just, make... I'm that's what the whole sky is.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's a fucked up way to interpret a cloud.
Honestly, that's pretty fucking crazy.
And that's how what I thought it was. Jesus, I'm only realizing that now.
Back to what you were saying, do you think in the future, the future people are going to look back and be like, what the fuck were you doing?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Right now we're in such a selfish, care about just selfish,
right
taking
now.
care of our needs. We have
right
energy
now.
needs. We don't care how we get them, as long as, the energy companies are staying up, providing the energy.
Yep.
And then, they would never switch to this electric vehicles and stuff unless there was incentives, unless there was...
No, they're getting the rebates.
And do you think that generation, if they were in our shoes, would do things differently? I feel like everyone would do it the exact same, where they're like, oh, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that's the thing, when a resource is and isn't available to you, you will use it, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is obviously we're learning. Obviously in the past you didn't know about things, so you just do things, right? Nuclear energy.
Yeah.
People would just make these nuclear glasses. People have
cutting atoms.
And just because you'd have radiation poisoning like crazy, because it'd be doing it super close to your house and nobody knew what the effects were, right? Yeah. But if you put somebody else, if you're talking about if you were in the 50s, you would probably do the exact same shit they were all doing at the same time, right? You probably wouldn't smoke, but you would smoke in a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Because it was allowed.
Or the plane,
or you know what I mean?
Anywhere really.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
Branded at a certain point as a health thing. Doctors were going on I smoke Camel brand.
Yeah, literally. You know what I mean? So we wouldn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
We just had to understand that we don't know anything.
And I feel like we don't, as shitty as it sounds, I feel like as people are, they don't care about things unless it becomes an actual, problem
issue
that is in your face.
Yeah.
So people aren't going to care about it. It's in the future, this is going to be a problem. The world's going to shit in the future. And then those people that are there in that time where it's it's a problem now, they're going to look back and be like, fucking assholes. But I feel like if they were in that position, they'd be like,
Yeah, but it's even
shitty.
The other thing too is just it's not even just our waste isn't just subjected to on our own planet. You know what I mean? Space space junk is a huge thing
space
too,
junk
right?
at this point is you cannot just launch. You can't just build a spaceship and just fly out of it. You will die as soon as you fucking reach a certain point. You're just gonna crash right through all the satellite junk, all the launch shit that's been it is literally almost as thick as the clouds. If you've ever seen NASA's, they have a live feed of all the space junk because they have to track it.
Jeez.
They have a live feed. If you see it, it looks like millions of fucking pieces are just flying around the earth at all times. And they have to coordinate that shit so that they fly through it when they take off.
Yeah. Every
That
time
shit
you
is
see those
fucked.
movies where, like, you know, the parts of the fuel, those bigger rockets,
Yeah, they're
like,
blasting
detach.
off.
Where do those go? They
There's
just
all
stay.
the screws and all the parts and
Yeah.
all the shit they're there.
Yeah.
They're not collecting it.
No.
There's nothing.
Like,
They
how
can't. Well,
do
they
you-
can't.
They can't.
how
They
do
just
you-
have no way to
They
grab
have
it.
to figure out a way to do it. That's what they have been
Absolutely.
trying to, but they're like, do we
They
get a
need
big
giant
net?
magnet.
Do we get a
They
big
gotta
net?
bring
Do
it
we get
back.
like they gotta figure out a way to clean it up because
Yeah.
honestly, that's the shit that at a certain point let
Will
it get
fall
thick
down.
enough. No,
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
fall down. Let it get thick enough too up there. It's gonna start blocking
Isn't
shit
that
out.
fucked up? We
Yeah.
can't even, like, depollute our oceans. We have to worry about depolluting
Space.
space.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're fucked up. See, that's what I mean. We don't know anything.
Yeah.
So everything
But
that we do,
gotta stop drinking from plastic straws. Fuck that.
Yeah.
We don't-
Guys.
I'm
like-
the problem.
like, humans, like from the beginning of time, we're stumbling this
Yeah.
whole way through. Even while we're blasting shit off and trying to go to Mars, we don't know shit. As soon as we
Yeah.
get to Mars, those people could all just die, and they could just fake the whole thing and make it feel like those people are alive, just so that we don't like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go nuts.
Especially nowadays.
Just because we don't want to be big at like failures.
Yeah.
As humans, like humans are just very, very shitty. We fucked up so much.
Yeah.
Building pyramids, we didn't even really do that shit. We can't even prove that we did that shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
looking at it, we're like, we didn't. There's no way we could have done
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah,
we
I
built-
feel like
Yet we have built cities, we have built giant skyscrapers, we have built these things, but like, it just to me, humans are the worst like thing to ever come upon the earth. Of
Yes.
course,
so much pointless.
we're the aliens.
social issues.
Yeah. Oh, it's always
And,
just
like-
within infighting.
Yeah, and like that's why we'll never really succeed and go forward.
Mhm.
And that's like it's not really that like, oh, we have this technology available and we're choosing to use this other way instead. It's more that we're not using the best of our minds to create a new future.
technology.
And like even if we look back to like going to the moon and stuff like that, the only reason we were doing that is
War.
because it was the Cold War and we were competing against Russia.
Yeah.
Right?
If,
Yeah.
if that
Which
if
Soviet
that wasn't
Union,
happening,
right?
that wasn't happening. There's no reason.
We
Just
never
a
would
big
have had
dick
that.
And that's
comment.
yeah, and the thing too. Like it's
Ego.
like
It's all
we.
ego,
It's
man.
not like we couldn't find like better solutions. Like nuclear energy is a great solution,
Yeah.
right? It has
Yeah,
very
if we
little
put enough,
pollution.
if everybody on Earth put their minds together on this one issue, like they did with this COVID vaccine, I guess what? We would have enough. We would make one plant to like power the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One nuclear plant to power the Earth.
Or like yeah,
that
just like
runs
enough
in
to
the
be like
Earth that's like using the actual Earth's heat itself to.
Yeah.
yeah, and like finding shit like that would be like it's not even like we haven't made technology. It's we haven't maximized the potential of everything,
Yeah, that's what he
right?
said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we can find this, we can do all this. Yeah, we have geothermal technology. We don't use geothermal
don't
technology
use
because
it.
it's so useless to us at this point, right? Because we
Because
haven't
we
tapped
haven't put
into
any fucking thought into it.
how to
And the
actually
people
use it.
that have are looked at as crazies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
just because of like how he said everybody believed in global warming. 90% of people
Mhm.
believe that it was a thing. It's propaganda. It's ways of thinking. It's hearsay. It's money.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of paper trails. It's like it's things that'll influence people to be like, oh yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, like that's what a lot of our way and day-to-day life is money and paper trails.
Yeah.
Like the victors, write history, the victors have won.
Yeah.
And so we've, gone along this path of electricity and certain devices where people have gotten those rights and stuff,
Yeah.
gotten that branding, where if the same research and development was put into other methods that we kind of like didn't get passed on,
Yeah.
who
It's like-
knows where that
like
could
you-
put us or
it's like-
open our like
So
sciences or whatever.
I was gonna say like yeah, like you talk about like we're Victor's right the history. It's like you look at the Industrial Revolution. What was burning in factories? Coal.
Right.
Yeah.
Coal's like one of the worst things you could ever burn.
yeah.
It's just black smoke
Yo.
right up there, and people were working in a factory
'Cause
around that
it's
shit,
cheap.
and they were getting sick. You know what I
People
mean?
were in the mines breathing in coal dust and mine dust, pulling
all
that,
that
shit out.
Yeah, right.
Just to burn it, just to go burn it in a factory. You know
And
what
then,
I'm saying?
and that's the thing too. And it's just like, oh, but like
Cancer.
we praise that because it's like we made innovation and technology in order to make more, things more fuel efficient.
Yeah.
When it's just like, you could probably go somewhere else, anywhere in the world else at the exact same time. There was probably better methods of finding electricity. There was probably better methods of doing anything else that they were doing. Somebody else was probably doing it. You know what I mean?
The only reason our world is what it is because the English, Britain, took it over.
Yeah.
And made it one way.
Yeah.
If any other place on Earth was as powerful, it would be completely different.
Yeah.
We might not be as advanced in certain areas, but we might be more wealthy in others.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In community, in actual like being parts of something. There's not so many people that are like killing themselves just because they're fucking sitting in a room all day
Yeah.
looking at a screen on fucking 4chan and shit.
Yeah.
Like it all starts with something, you know what I'm saying? Like when you root it all back,
Oh yeah.
it all really does make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so the victors write history and all that shit. There was something I was gonna say on your point, and I can't remember. What the fuck did you say? Do you remember at all?
What you just said. In and out the ear. In the head, out the mouth.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
fine. I can't remember. It was a good point, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you were talking about the victors' right history.
It wasn't that, but it was another point that you made in that sentence that I was gonna talk about, but I can't remember. It's fine. Either way,
And like I said, if we were to pursue in any other way of technology or energy or whatever, who knows where that could lead us to now in sciences.
yes, yes is exactly what you said, but I can't remember. But it's just like that. In 100%, if we put our money in anything else,
Yeah.
it's like, it's like I remember now. It's like the amount of time that I would put into Smash right now. If I put it into anything else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the amount of time I put into
more
DJing.
things. Yeah.
If I put that into doctor, like school,
Yeah.
I could be a great doctor. But it's, you know what I'm saying?
Like that's
It's just-
what our society
Our society is more based
making
upon
things
doing shit
easier
for
for you.
Yeah.
But like, what if it
Convenient,
was more of a society where things are easier, so you could focus on certain like important tasks,
I
right?
think-
Like it takes away those day-to-day
Yeah.
meaningless jobs, so you can
Yeah.
work at those higher professions like science, medical.
Like
stuff
if
that.
everybody's a scientist or a philosopher or an artist or a doctor or something that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, we do have merchants. And it's like, it would have to be like the Renaissance. Like a Renaissance of like labor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it becomes like
a thing of minds. It would get rid of the blue collar and it would become a elevated, like, you have to, it's more of a thought work. You know what I mean? But you can't get rid of blue collar work because that is the industrial part of the
That's the
whole
movement
thing.
aspect of anything.
The foundation.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like you could get rid of like everybody could be smart, but like we were just talking about this, where like people get too smart, they begin to juxtaposition themselves, right? Like we could all be intellectual mindsets, but we're all gonna have different opinions on everything. Or, I'm gonna be like, well, you're wrong, and then no, I'm wrong, but he's also wrong. And you're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all always gonna be at a position where it's like everybody else is wrong, even if we try. If we're working on the same thing, like sure we can get one thing done, but like we're always gonna have different opinions on everything or how things should be done. So at the end, it's gonna be inefficient because we're gonna do it 4 different ways, and we're always gonna find that this is wrong or that's wrong. There's too nitpicky, right?
That's where the ego of human beings is the biggest downfall, as it's always has.
Yeah, because it's a methodology thing, right? Like, and as much as you want to, there is maybe a right way to do things, but like there's not one definitive right way to do something. You know what I mean? There's always more than one.
That's the thing. It's like when people say, "Oh, what would life be like without blank?" Well, you would never know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what would life be like without a TV? Well, who knows? You would never have a TV, so you would never ask that question. That's what life would be like.
I think,
like, to me, that's the answer to that question.
Yeah. I mean, in general, like I just think Western culture, it's all about like individuality and stuff like that. So trying to put a bunch of heads together to solve one problem, same thing. They're gonna solve it a bunch of different ways. It's all about individuality. It's all about separating yourself from the group.
That's
what everyone
that's
wants.
capitalism.
And that's the American dream.
Yeah.
And so that's why money, like finances, are such a huge power, is because finances fuel freedoms. Like finances fuel the individuality aspect where you can do whatever you want when you have that money. And so people, instead of looking at like longevity and being like, I'm going to make sure the world is taken care of, it's like, no, I'm going to pump this fresh water into the oil and get this oil out because it's going to make me money in the moment, and then I'm going to die, and then someone else is going to have this problem. It doesn't matter.
And I was going to say too as well, like every because you were talking about like, you know, we have to think of more efficient ways, like especially because you kind of were talking about like money, like everything's always like funded some way in a way of like money, like you know, like you have to think about like what's another system other than bartering, like money. Like could you think of another way you could really trade goods?
Probably just services. Probably just like
service for service, trade for trade, good for good.
Like, so almost like a bartering system. But that again is becomes subjective.
Still kind of end us up in the same.
It would.
Yeah, and like at that
because
point,
at some point someone would be like, "Why are we doing this? Let's use coins," and it would fall into the same.
Yeah, there's no way to determine value.
Like it really becomes a point where like if you build a society where you don't want to base anything on money, you have to just get rid of any form of like, you know, this for that or that for this, right? Like people, you have to provide for people, right? So like, let's say you build like we're
communism.
Like. Yes, almost. Yeah, you're essentially working for the state in a way where, like, you provide essentially everything for everybody. So, but everybody works, everybody does this. There's no individuality,
China.
right? Yeah, almost. Like, China. Yeah, China's a different breed. China, they were like, you could make like. They were trying to make you make metal in your backyard because you would do it for the state. So like shit like that. Yeah, it's in the Red Book, in the original Red Book.
Who?
The Red Book.
What is the Red Book?
The Red Book's the book that Chairman Mao made when the Communist Party took over. They gave every single Chinese person like a book.
They made billions. They made 1 billion books.
There wasn't 1 billion people in China.
No, but he's saying right now that everybody has a Red Book.
Not everybody.
No,
has not now. But like when the Communist Party wasn't voted in last year.
I'm just saying. Like, was it a continued tradition? Like,
no.
It's transferred to PDF format.
Probably. You could probably find a
email
PDF
version of
it. Yeah. There's probably
you were just born today. Here is your
Red Book.
Probably. There's probably maybe people hand that shit down generations.
Maybe like you never know, man. Like I don't know. I have no idea. I've never even heard about that. That's like really.
But like, there's this Red Book.
It's such a like deep embedded issue. In our culture, like even I'm guilty of it. If I won like $50 million lottery and like I invested it, made 100 more, like let's say I like almost $1 billion, I'm still gonna like, you know, put that in an account, give you guys all my friends that I make sure they're set up, and like that's just how I picture it in my mind. That's my default. But if you look at the top people in the world who have all this money, if you like, they're never gonna use this money.
No.
And if they were just like pulled that together for something like even something like Elon Musk did, who created his own like spaceship. He's doing this, his self-landing rockets.
It's
like,
at least propelling
into healthcare.
It's propelling humans forward. He's doing something. He's doing the Neuralink that's doing for the healthcare to make people. Maybe one day, maybe one day we could see again. Maybe one day you'll hear again. You'll be a fucking robot, but hey, bro, you'll be able to fucking do it. And like,
but these other guys just paying for their daughter's psychology degree.
I would do the same
psychology
thing.
degree and psychiatry.
But
for the double.
But think about how like, and people say this all the time, but it's such a drop in the hat for them to take like $1 billion and build a super like accessible university in every city or every state in the United States, or do like pay off all student loans, or do this or do that. Like they could do it in a heartbeat. These things can be done, or they could talk to the government and work with the government in ways to.
Governments wouldn't want billionaires to pay for schools and stuff like that.
No, to set up a fund where these businesses and these governments pay off the national debt. You know what I'm saying?
Because like
billions. I'm talking like billions of dollars. They're trillions in debts, but I'm talking the billionaires can come together and put billions of dollars into that. Jeff Bezos alone can drop a nice chunk into that, still be good. He gave half his fucking money to his wife, and he's still good.
And look into it, because with like you can't legally like bribe or pay somebody to do stuff for you to get your daughter into college.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah,
What you
says
can
Harvard.
do if you're a multimillionaire, billionaire, you can set up a foundation.
Yes.
And say, my daughter was accepted in this school. My foundation
Would like to
can donate this much.
Yeah.
There you go.
Same thing, but legally.
Yeah. It's all that's
the loopholes
they
of
do
having money.
That's
Yeah.
that whole system was created to help people of course at the beginning, and then they found the financial
Exploitable ways,
of where politicians, government officials, people in schools, trustees, people on boards, those are the people that take advantage of that pool of money. Because those donation money, that doesn't ever reach whatever the fuck it's going to reach. Unless you literally are going and putting the food in the mouth of the African child.
Yeah.
You will never know. You will never know. You know what I'm saying? So most of these non-for-profits are maybe like 20% non-for-profit. And the rest of it is like disclosed, non-disclosed.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing though. Like I think like NGOs, like you don't get taxed, you don't get all this shit.
It's
like,
all taxed, and it's taxable like shit, like your donations.
Yeah.
So you donating money to a college and to this and to that is write-offs on your taxes anyway.
Yeah.
So it helps you. It's
Yeah.
set up in that way.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is it crazy?
Hmm?
Is it crazy?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you never know, right? Like that's the thing. Like especially like a system especially that was built to like help people is always just like there's always some way somebody will be exploited.
It's like the
right?
church.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh. Yeah.
Church
Look at all
is
these
a great
mega
one.
churches and
Sorry.
millionaire
Yeah.
fucking preachers and
I got some
pastors.
issues with the church, but
We ain't gonna get into that?
Well, the church
Yeah.
got issues, bro.
Yeah,
It
I know,
needs help. Just
I
need
do
help.
got a couple
Hit
quick
me.
headlines here.
Hit me with the headlines.
Right here.
Oh yeah, Kanye West.
Sure, let's start with that.
The
hear
masks.
about
That's-
Kanye
that
West's
was
new
like
mask?
literally today in the last 3 days. His
I don't
masks.
know what happened.
His masks that he's been wearing are so fucking weird.
Oh yeah, I saw this one.
This
recently.
so one of them
Oh
is
my
in a
God.
one of them is from a
That
French.
was the other one.
One of them is from a French the first one you showed is from a French movie, like in the 1950s.
It looks
it's
like
it's like a
supposed to be
James
Michael
Bond. It's like an
Myers.
old James Bond thing, and I believe it's like of the villain or whatever. And he wore that, and then he wore the other one, and both times he wore those because he went to go to
That's
a.
actually him.
Oh, so weird.
He went to
Right?
go to a meeting
Yeah.
with Michael Cohen, aka Donald Trump's old ex lawyer or attorney or whatever, and they were sitting having lunch. And the first time they met, he wasn't wearing any of them,
Yeah.
and he got swarmed. But he wore that, and he still got swarmed. It didn't fucking matter. But like, yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. He got off the plane, walked out of the airport in that.
Yeah, weird dude.
That doesn't even look like him.
Literally doesn't.
That's so funny. I love that so much.
So
my
weird.
That shit is
God.
fucked
Does
up.
this mean that Jack Harlow can wear a black mask?
No.
No, no, man.
That's
You,
not
you,
what-
you're trying to find out for Halloween. This motherfucker's
Nah.
trying to find out for Halloween.
Why?
Look
You
at
want to do blackface? Do it, man. You're just not allowed on
That's the worst
street.
part about this, though. That's probably the spin on this whole thing that
Yeah.
happens. Is like, if he can do it, why can't I do blackface?
Yeah,
White
literally.
people are
Halloween's
upset
coming
everywhere.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, white
like,
people are pissed, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Middle
Always
American
wearing a
white
mask.
people.
Come on.
Middle American white people.
Can I at least
Justin
say the
Trudeau,
N-word?
Justin
I won't
Trudeau
say
right
the
now.
hard R. It'll be fine. He's wearing a white mask.
I got the Jew fro. I already got half of it. I just put on fucking half face mask.
Hilarious.
I'd be
What else you got,
shacked,
bro?
Last one. Remember a while back we were talking about robbing
got a reoccurring- we got a-
security trucks.
We got a reoccurring
Oh
segment.
yeah, we were talking about robbing security trucks.
Well, this 41-year-old man, Justin David Bryan, was sentenced to 9.5 years in prison
Because he's a
for
legend.
his crimes of robbing a bank.
There we go, man. Day and age, this
And he
day and
pretty
age,
much robbed them.
Robbery?
this day and age,
Easy.
he's an idiot.
Gotta wait
yeah,
for
who
it.
robs a bank
Yeah.
now? Like,
Maybe in the 1950s.
yeah,
When
He
you could,
made-
when the
made-
Wild West was
Yeah.
still rampant
He
in the
made homemade
1800s.
chili
Sure.
powder bombs.
Look at him.
Gold
It's
bars,
Kanye
dude.
West.
Yeah. Yeah, he should have waited like 2 weeks and then with Kanye West now, I would have robbed those banks,
These
bro.
are the bombs he made. There's certain bombs he packed in chili powder, so when they exploded, it like fucked up people's eyes.
Huh.
And watch. As soon as they go to open it, he goes in.
Wait, this is...
Boom.
Oh my Jesus.
And then he runs up in a mask with like an AK-47, goes and like shoots one of the guards, kills them, and goes into the truck and steals the money.
Holy shit.
Dope.
Yeah, he gets
I'm sorry.
away.
That's dope. That's GTA
He
style.
claims it's for his wife with medical bills. They found out.
He's robbing an RBC.
Yeah.
There ain't
Yeah,
a
yeah.
chance he got a
Yeah.
bill. He ain't seen a single bill
Yeah,
in his house.
there's no trace of any medical bills they can find. There's only chunk of the money they can find that wasn't recovered was like spent in like sniper rifles.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
But this guy got away, and they found one of his bombs, like the old like casings, and they like found one of the pictures here. It should show
this thing.
that's he used a firework detonator. Do it. And I wanna. Okay, right here. So he set it up like that with the firework detonator and chili powder into the bomb thing. The scotch tape. They tracked that down to a Staples. They went and like looked at the people doing it. This guy matched the description, and that's how they tracked him down from a Staples security.
Man.
footage. So
And
now he's
You're
sentenced.
talking about the police ain't gonna
when
find your
cops
ass, bro. They
wanna
gonna find
do
you,
their
bro.
job,
When
Stole
they-
$140,000.
That's because he stole and shot one of the fucking officers.
Shot one at $140,000.
That's why they
Yeah,
went
well,
after
if you
his
didn't-
ass.
And he got away for a couple months.
Yeah, well, if they didn't
And
kill you,
nine
don't
and a half
kill.
for it.
And
Like
he
if
only
you don't,
bought
if
it-
you want to get away with something, just don't kill anybody who's in a
Yeah.
officer, anything like that. Don't
Don't
even wound them.
As soon as you endanger somebody,
Yeah.
don't
The
show up
second
with a
they're after
don't
you.
show up with a
even look
weapon.
at a suburban mom. If you
You
look at
show
a
no, you
suburban
show
mom-
up with a weapon, but you don't hit anybody with the
Don't
weapon.
come with the
come
weapon
with blanks.
out. Come with the don't
Yeah.
come with the weapon out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
like a
saying?
water gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
What was
That's
what
what
did
I
I
charged for.
Shit, man. Did they
What?
die? Like who died? One of them died.
Yeah, one of the security guards.
And
feel
then
like it
what
would've
happened to
been
the
the-
other one?
They had
The girl
pistols.
died or the guy died?
I feel like the girl would have.
Yeah,
She was the
the
one in
girl
the
died.
back. Yeah.
The
me too.
pistols, man, they got pistols on them all
They
the
only
time.
got pistols. This guy came with an AK.
Yeah, like even.
I mean,
especially
after that,
with
did you
the
see that
exact-
fucking explosion? I would have
That's
been
insane.
down
You
and
can't
out.
see
Just in shock, and then
Yeah.
someone's in there already.
You're
with a
coming out of an
gun,
RBC
you're-
doing
yeah.
your regular day, like your job that you've done probably 1,000 times.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, it's routine at that
And
point.
then you're walking out-
something breaks that. Yeah.
This guy he sat there for weeks.
Oh yeah, that's not a I'll just do it today. It's like you have to
Yeah.
watch that for months and
Right.
time
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
How many people are coming? How long it takes them to get in and
Yeah.
out?
Yeah,
When's your
exactly.
opportunity to get into the
Yep.
door? Because you have to be like,
What you need to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem low
Oh,
though?
oh.
9.5 years.
we
Yeah,
ours
that is
isn't
low.
ours is not nearly as bad as the states. In the states, it's a federal crime to rob a
and
bank.
This was an Edmonton man.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice.
this
Where
was
was
happened
this?
here on 141.
This is in
Street.
Edmonton?
Yeah,
Oh
sorry, I
my
should have mentioned
God.
What the
That's
fuck,
is
bro?
local.
Okay, hold
That's
on.
why this was so important.
the
This all
fuck?
happened
Still
here.
think it's badass, Jaylin?
No,
I don't know.
Actually,
Check
a little bit.
check and see what the in Canada what a crime is for robbing a bank. In
Wait,
the
he
this.
killed someone too. That's
That's
what,
why
like,
it's even higher.
Oh, that's why
But
it's
only
higher.
9.
No, it should be higher for killing.
Yeah,
him.
it should be higher.
Should be life.
No,
Yeah.
because they probably twisted it in. It wasn't a premeditated murder. They
It
probably
wasn't a
it was
murder,
probably
yeah.
like a third
They were
degree, which
already
was like
down and out, man. What do you need to shoot somebody for?
she probably pulled out her pistol,
Yeah.
and
How
then he
could
just
she-
was like boom.
So it turned to a self-defense
How could
charge.
she-
Yeah.
How could
He would have gotten months. He would probably like 4 years for it.
Yeah.
I think robbing a bank account is like 4
Min-
years.
Minimum sentence for robbery is 4, 5, or
Yeah.
7 years.
Damn.
Maximum is life.
That's low.
That's
And like look it up. Like robbing a bank in the states is like 25 years
Yeah.
plus.
Oh yes.
It's a federal crime.
It's a federal
Here, like, yeah, he only got 5 additional years for second degree murder,
The only
maybe
bank-
third.
The only bank I'd ever rob is one in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah. My
like one of them county banks.
Yeah, the only bank I would rob is one back in time when I time travel back there, and I have all the shit that I need to rob that
Yeah.
bank. You know what I
Look
mean?
at this.
The only
So, bank robberies. There's only one guy, career bank robber, armed with firearm, mask. He got 17.5 years. That's the highest one. Everybody is like 39 months, 3 years, 8 years, 10 years.
Let's go rob a bank.
Because
they're
they're like-
in there for a few years, man.
I
Lot
think
more
it's
people
I
hire
think it's
for home
because
invasion.
our banking system isn't
Oh,
isn't like centralized like the way it is in the States. Like they have the
Right.
treasure.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I think
yeah,
our
yeah.
banking is a little bit different.
but
Yeah, home invasion
how-
looks like the big time.
But
yeah,
how-
damn. You can get imagine getting a bigger
Home
charge for a home
invasion is the-
invasion
home
for
invasion
fucking.
is
the big one.
Home invasion.
How much
You
you
Because,
getting?
steal like $50 worth of shit, and then you get
Store
fucking
robberies
life
are
in
lower.
prison.
Street robberies.
Yeah, you know
How
why?
much-
Yeah, it's probably
hold
it.
on, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. Home invasion?
Yeah.
This nigga like, wait, hold up. I was just about to do that. Shove them down
It's
the
like
street. and I was about to hit
everybody
him.
on here pretty much has like 10 years minimum.
Okay, hold on.
You know, no, because they can stack things on top, right?
Yeah.
They can stack petty crime. They can stack
Yeah.
large theft.
Yeah.
You break into a house, break
How
into
much
But
did
then
those?
look at-
How much did those bank robberies ever steal? Like, did it say how much they stole? Is it high amounts or is it low amounts? Is that why?
That would be so weird though.
Like,
that
under-
it was, like,
under $1 million?
determined based off of.
Oh,
what they
there's
actually
no way
took.
you're walking out of a
It's
bank
like,
with
it's
a
like,
million.
oh yeah, if you did a
know.
little better. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Because like the thing is, we also don't stash money at banks.
Yeah.
That's
I
like
think-
foreign.
Yeah.
I think
Here.
a lot of these are caught. Because only one of them says, ask bank teller for 10,000.
Yeah, like I think it's rare to even walk out of a Canadian bank with like 140,000.
What's that?
Those trucks come in like every day.
Yeah.
that? That's
Right.
This is uncategorized. There's like robbery of a job site with loaded
I mean,
restricted
like,
firearm.
My
You got 6.5.
Look up like largest sum of money stolen from Canadian bank or something like that. That probably would be the answer. Because like yeah, like in the States, like you can walk out of a bank with like $500,000
Yeah.
plus. You know what I mean? And you could do 3 or 4
Yeah.
banks and walk out
Yeah.
with $500,000 plus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why that's a 25-year
Well, that's what
federal
I'm saying,
charge.
right? Like if you here, you're not gonna
The
if you're not
more-
gonna make it
yeah.
out with
A
that much, you're not
B&E
gonna get
will
that much.
easily get you, will run you a good 10 years because you can walk away.
68.5 million heist was so simple, but the take was
Montreal.
hard to unload.
Montreal.
Oh,
Wow.
65
yeah, the Montreal
That's-
motherfuckers.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
You told me I couldn't get 1 million. I got 65.
This is probably the
million.
last time that any bank carried that much
Exactly.
What are
yeah.
those?
money. Is it even in a bank? Is it a bond?
Yeah,
it's
it's like bonds.
Bonds.
Oh yeah, there you go.
How do you cash bonds?
They're
Yeah,
untraceable.
stolen
Bonds are
banks,
untraceable.
Yeah,
How what?
Bonds are untraceable. They're
Yeah.
like bonds are like stocks almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Like,
that's
kind of.
Is it stocks?
it's
No,
yeah, it's like
well, like,
kind of like a
yeah.
stock, but it's not like
Just
it's
in
not
the fact-
monetary
exactly,
value, but
just
you can
in-
get money back for them. People put their kids in bonds because it's money that'll grow.
Right.
Right? So it's almost like a stock
Well,
that'll grow over
yeah.
time.
But then
Here's
how
the
do
thing,
you
like,
sell that?
because I've taken out money bonds before. I usually do that when I'm buying cars, so in
Mm.
case I get ripped off, and you can like kind of cancel it.
yeah.
But as long as it's like the right person's name, everything goes through. Because like I had to get his like full name, address, and everything to put on their end of who's it's going to. And as long as it's going to that right person, there's nothing you can really do with it. It's pretty much cash as soon as you hand it
Yeah.
over to them.
So you give them a bond.
Someone
Yeah,
can
you have to
literally
go to
take
the
a bond
bank.
from you, and
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like somebody without the name can't
Yeah.
come up and like rob you and
Exactly.
take it and cash it in because it's not their name on it. But you know, if
Yeah.
he runs up and steals the bond, there's nothing you can do. It's the same as him stealing cash.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
my
just more one way.
my older brother
That's
actually robbed a liquor store, and like he barely got a year. Like, yeah,
My brother.
How much do you get away with?
not a lot. Like it was
Just the teller?
yeah, like it was basically him grabbing, like stealing liquor and then just taking like
Yeah.
I don't know, $200
Right.
out of the till.
Not armed?
No, oh no, he it wasn't armed with like a
Deadly weapon.
gun.
Real
Yeah,
gun.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
but
With
Yeah,
a baseball
dude's
bat or with a gun?
Baseball gun?
Okay.
knife. It was but it
UK
wasn't a gun.
style.
Yeah,
UK team.
basically.
All right, bruv. Come on, bruv. Give me everything in the register, mate.
But yeah, $68 million in bonds,
That's-
untraceable. Pretty much bonds are
yeah.
untraceable, so you can just
Yeah.
take that shit from
That's a
anybody.
good haul right there.
That is a good
That's
haul.
a good haul.
If it didn't take them so long to
Yeah.
unload that shit.
Clear your plans for the next 9 years, guys. We're gonna.
I don't
rob a
even
bank.
think-
That's what I'm saying. You'd have to plan for at least a decade of
Uh.
like hiding your identity, making sure you were untraceable for a while, figuring out how to keep yourself from like being untraceable, doing everything in cash, like wiping yourself, And then when the day comes, the things you do to get that you get it ready,
Yeah.
you have to make sure that when you got those things, you cannot be identified at the store, at the thing,
Yeah.
with the car, driving down the street.
Yeah.
Like you have to dedicate your life to it.
No, but that's like, it's not even like making yourself unnoticeable. It's like when you make purchases for things like a gun, you're making a purchase out of like not in your area. You know what I mean? You drive down to Calgary, spend a weekend there, pay the place off, and cash
Do
in a
it in
motel.
cash.
Yeah.
And then
Everything in cash.
and different
untraceable.
under a different name, and then
Yeah.
you go in and you're like, okay,
You buy it
I-
off the street, bro. Fuck
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like you just go and waste. People don't think about that when they
No.
were robbing a bank. Obviously, Scotch Tape Boy went in
This
there,
guy
bought
fucking-
6 stacks of Scotch tape, and nobody
Yeah.
thought twice about it, right?
Yeah.
He's buying office supplies,
Yeah.
right? But he's using this shit for bond. But that shit will get you tracked because, like, especially if you leave like a brand name in there, they are gonna be like, how many fucking you know.
Scotch
Scotch tape
brands
places
exactly
can you
like
take,
this,
you know?
like this, exactly like this
Yeah.
are there
Yeah.
sold here. There's got to be a number, like da da da. Okay, like that's, and then that's how they tracked it down.
Like,
It's just
I'm-
like that shit's crazy.
I'm sure we don't even realize the amount that we're being tracked and like.
Well, look at your
we're able
phone.
to- yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
mushroom
how
man over
fast
here.
it got that mushroom ad. Like from me
Oh,
looking
yeah,
up,
yeah,
like
yeah.
minimum sentence for bank robbery. If there is a bank robbery that happens in the next
You'll
sorry,
like put it
couple
on a
of
blip.
weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
bro.
like the suspect is like a skinnier person, my height and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm gonna be added onto some like
Watch
suspect
list.
watch
Yeah.
list and stuff. Put in like
Yeah.
That's why I worry about even like
You're on my Wi-Fi,
watching
so you're
these
good.
serial
Yeah.
killer documentaries and stuff like that. Listening to these podcasts talking about it, because I'm just like, if something happens in my area, they're gonna be like, this guy was looking up like serial killer.
Yeah.
I feel like if
stories,
anybody's
how
looking
they
up
got
how
away
to
with murder.
Yeah.
how to hit somebody in the jugular, I think that's like
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
like
can
oh
you
That's a
stitch the jugular? Like,
yeah shit like
Can
that.
they
you know?
come back from a jugular?
Like at that, like I think if you ever like, especially jump into like crimes like this,
Yeah.
especially
You
on like
cannot
that
be
level,
a part of anything.
you have to. It has to be like spur of the moment, or like very much you have to grow up around the people that would be
Oh,
willing
you
to
like
make
your
that risk.
father
Yeah.
and mother have to be professional bank robbers, and you have to like literally like grow that life, like
Yeah.
live in that, and that's the only way you're gonna ever be a professional,
Yeah.
like successful.
And that's
robber.
the thing to me. Like if my wife was having medical bills, like I still like. I would. The last thing I would do is think about
Go to
robbing a
get
bank.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
a second job. I'd rather work 48 hours.
Then
pick
go
up
to
two-
jail, and
Yeah.
now
Start up a
my wife is
GoFundMe.
alone with her medical bills on top of her illness.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like that's so fucked.
stand outside the bank pushing her GoFundMe or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm starting to OnlyFans to fund that
Do
shit. You know what I
something,
mean?
man.
Like, yeah, I've
Fuck.
done anything to do that other than doing a federal crime. Because you get caught. Like, 9 years is
Now,
not
yeah.
nearly that bad. But if this was the States, that's a 25.
Yo.
And he murdered on top of that. They're
Yeah.
gonna twist that to first
Yeah.
degree.
Hell yeah.
So you're spending 75 to life,
Oh, yeah.
pretty much.
No, 25 is life.
25 is
pretty
the
much.
minimum for robbing the bank.
Well,
there's probably 10
a
years.
How long is a life sentence really?
It's your entire life without parole. And especially if you get without parole,
So
is
if you live like let's say you just keep living, like, you
they'll
just-
keep you in there.
You just don't.
You
die.
can appeal as much as you want
I swear that there's like you can outlive a life sentence. Look that up.
No.
Can you?
to. I'm doubtful. Or maybe it's like 100 years.
There's. I swear.
But people who
I
get life
heard
sentences are in their
something.
50s.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's
Yeah,
where
they're
that's
not,
where
like-
it is. Like you,
3 months old, life sentence.
but like a young like teenager that goes on like a fucking murder
No.
spree.
So
Like, come
what
on.
they'll
now.
do to you is
Try
they'll
to
put you in
rehabilitate you?
juvie,
And then they try you as an adult.
and then depending on how young you
Yeah.
are. If you're 17, 16, they'll try you. They'll probably somehow
But
find
that's
a
what
way
I'm
to try
saying.
you.
Regardless, for life of that, give me something, Dylan.
For life is 15 years with chance of parole.
With the chance
But
of parole.
Some they say life with no chance of parole. So that's pretty much.
That means you're stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always appeal a parole, but
Yeah.
a parole is even like the potential of you possibly getting out on good behavior, and if you do get out, you're watched pretty much the rest of your
Well,
life.
yeah,
And
parole, like you have to check in with the officer.
Yeah,
you
exactly,
can't
right?
You can't be
And
drinking,
at that
you
point,
have a
once you're in
curfew.
prison for 15 years, what
There's-
life do you have really
Honestly,
outside?
There's
You don't.
nothing. There's nothing.
yeah, not even like
Life
even-
is so different.
Yeah.
yeah,
15 years ago, think about 15 years ago.
Mhm.
How old were you?
yeah.
You have to
10.
come out
Yeah.
and learn how to work a cell phone.
9.
You go to
Yeah.
you go into jail.
was no-
Even if you
I
go
have
into
no
jail,
iPhone.
yeah, that's crazy to think about like how long that would be.
There's
And
no
most of the
iPhone,
time,
man.
people don't get that till 20, 30
Mhm.
years into their life sentence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
Because the court process is so delayed.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
so
like,
fucked
by
up.
the time you actually get sentenced, it's like 2 years later.
Yeah.
yeah, that's brutal. And like the thing is, like at that point, especially if you're like, people are like 30 years into their prison sentence. You know what I mean? Even if you're, I
There's
feel like
no,
if you're
like-
10 years into your prison sentence, at that point, the people in prison, they know you better than the people outside. At that
Hell,
point.
that's
Yeah,
why people go back.
absolutely.
That's why
Yeah.
majority of the
It's a
time.
different community. Yeah.
That's why majority of the time people that get out of prison go back to prison because they
Yeah.
find it a lot safer, or
And
they
it's
find it a lot
crazy.
more.
for like these younger people too that commit crimes that go like right from before they even
That's all they know.
move out and stuff like that.
They
go
move out. They
from-
move into juvie,
Yeah, they
and then
literally
they go
don't
from.
have individuality. They
just
don't
bounce
have a
back and
chance
forth.
to like live an actual life, and then that is their life. Like literally, that's hands down for sure what happened to my older brother. The exact same thing. Just fucked up,
Right,
went into it, and then just like couldn't get out. Just like kept.
going back.
Yeah. He literally like he got out of prison. My mom was she's like, yeah, you can stay with me for a bit. The night after, like, he got out of prison, he took her car, just fucking like rammed it into the side of like a hotel and like through the building and stuff like that, and then just went back to prison. And it's like,
Yeah.
you just can't.
You just get looped into that system because
Yeah,
it's
like-
so much easier to like live that way, especially like
Yeah.
here because it's
Stress
like
of everything of a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's different. It's something more than just survival of just like, oh, I'm in this atmosphere.
And I
doing
gotta
this,
watch
doing
this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when my brother came back from jail,
Yeah.
was like crazy to see the transformation of who he became,
Yeah.
because it turned him into, it calloused him,
Mm.
turned him into like a rough
Yeah.
person. He would swear on every second word that he
Yeah.
spoke was fucking or shit, this bitch, fucking at. Like every single word was a curse. Every single time he talked was aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always, he was rough around everything. He had no etiquette anymore, and he was only in there for like a year or something.
Yeah.
Right?
You could tell it took him a long time to get
He
comfortable
just
back at home.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
only just has started to get back into who he was.
Yeah.
Like who he really was before everything that has happened to him has happened. Like, and it's been years,
Yeah.
right? So, and still he still does not have, he has to apply for like a what is it? Like a way to, an appeal
oh yeah,
to get rid of your
Like a
criminal
pardon?
record. Yeah,
Yeah.
pardon to get
Yeah.
rid of your criminal record. He still has to wait a couple years. Still, on top of it already being maybe 4 or 5, he has to wait 10 years.
Jeez.
Some shit
Yeah.
like that.
yeah.
So like that alone, the stress of coming back, not being able to really go to school, do this, do that.
Yeah.
When he had a life figured out, he could have easily went back to selling drugs and doing all this shit.
Yeah.
I'm very proud that he didn't, but he had a life before,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why he had something he could revert
Something
back
to
to,
go back to,
as
yeah.
long as he was away from all the other
Exactly.
shit.
And-
Whereas your
Yeah.
brother,
Yeah.
all he knew
Yo.
was, I need to fuck shit up, or
Yeah.
do this or do that, right?
And that's a big part of it too. Like they say, oh, get out of prison, go get a job, become a contributing member of society.
Yeah.
But like, what places really will hire you?
Yeah.
Sure, you can get a good job and stuff, but then he's more like lenient on that, so you'll be stuck with more of the same people with the
Exactly.
mindset. So you're still kind of stuck into
In
that
that.
lower grade. So then your own
Yeah.
mind too, you're like, oh, I'm stuck
I'm
with
just
these
this,
people. I'm
yeah.
part of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like too that's the other thing is like certain sentences will get you a job and certain things won't. Like I remember like there's this dude I used to know who he was like, yeah, I could have gotten a job, but the dude was like, well, if it wasn't an assault charge, I would have given you the
100%,
job,
yeah.
right?
Like,
and
that's
so
the
those
same
things
thing.
kind of like differentiate
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
kind of jobs you get, right? Obviously, if you do fraud in any like financial charge, you
You're
can't get
never
a
gonna
job
get
in
a
a
job.
financial
Blacklisted,
district.
yeah.
You could get a job working. You can't even really get a job working for a retail
No,
store, right?
exactly.
Because you're
Like
still dealing with
cashier,
money
yeah,
every
yeah.
day,
Yeah.
right?
Loss prevention.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's like there's a lot of things that like, you know, those jobs will like they'll put a blockade in it because it's like, well, this is related to this and this and this, so you
Well,
can't
yeah.
get this
Well,
job.
my brother went to school for power engineering.
hmm
That's a very high paying and very
Yeah.
like very very lucrative job if you can get into the right industry and do it. And he was in it and getting into it.
Yeah.
And that blocked him from having a proper job
Mhm.
in that field. Years of school, years of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now, what does he do? Like, not to say that he's not doing anything wrong, but he has to stack his money up
Yeah.
to get back into it and do a job that he didn't go to school for.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it just becomes more of an uphill battle, right?
And
Like,
yeah, it's just that anybody that has to when in reality, when you're sitting in a cell every single day and your only responsibility is to stay alive,
yeah.
Mhm.
once you reach that, like, the gates of stepping to the real world, bills, your family now, if you have family.
Yeah.
You don't have family, you have no one, you're lonely as fuck, whereas you at least have, you know, people you hate
Yeah.
and people you don't want to kill
Yeah.
in jail or this or that or whatever the fucking case may
It's
be.
a little bit more black
Yeah.
and
It's-
white,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like the people on the floor who I hate, the people who I'm okay with,
Yeah.
the people who are neutral, and then the fucking people who are in
Yeah.
charge.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
especially as a man, to put your pride aside
Mhm.
and like being told when you can eat meals,
Yeah.
when you have this free time.
Yeah.
That takes a lot, especially for some people,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
give people that control. to
I would
let
lose
them
my shit.
Yeah,
control
it's
their
not even
life.
like you don't get the opportunity to give somebody that control. You have to give
Well,
it.
that's
what I
It's
mean,
just
like,
taken from you.
Yeah.
You know
Take
what I
it,
mean?
and then when
you
you
have to learn how to deal with it.
but then coming back into the real world and then going and working at like a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you
Oh,
can
we've been
handle
telling
that?
you what to do for so long. Now you're free. Make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Fucking
Like,
running around doing whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, here it's like to an extent, like you
Halfway
like
houses and stuff.
yeah, like you have an opportunity to rehabilitate and like get back into society. It's not like some systems, like the states, you don't have that. Like you get out of jail,
Literally
you
chuck
go
you
right,
back right into the
you're
fucking-
literally right back into the fucking
Homies
pond.
are picking
you
you
know?
up out right
Yeah,
outside.
homies
Yo.
are picking you up with popping champagne, fucking in the rolls. If
Yeah, and they're like,
drug
oh
dealers.
yeah, he's gonna be back here in a week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because he's with the same people, and like,
Yep.
yeah, you get out of prison to go to actually the same people, or like even if you try and run away from that situation, those people are gonna find you.
If
You
you're in
have
the
to
wrong
move,
situations,
move,
yeah.
move. Like get out of there, cut everybody off in your entire life. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like, and then yeah, like you talk about like people all the time. People have children, you know, conjugal visits, whatever. You might have 6 kids, and maybe you know the person that you're with has another kid, and then you come home, you got one extra, you don't even realize who the
Yep.
fuck is this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
life is different.
you don't realize that.
And your
whatever.
kids are grown, and your
Yeah.
kids are going to school, and you don't even know them.
And yeah, and you're missing so many big opportunities
Yeah,
in
go
people's
ahead,
lives where it's just like, yeah, maybe I had a son who was 1. I spent 5 years in prison. He's 6. I had to spend another 7, and from there, you know, and then now he's 11 or whatever, fucking 12, whatever, 13. Sorry, I'm doing the math wrong. 13. He's 13 years old. You know, those are big
Big
life
chunks.
chunks.
At that point, he's your son, but
He's a
not your
kid.
son.
Yeah, and then you're like, you know, even if you're
Biologically.
out from that point, at that point, like, if you don't know somebody from, you know, from
the
one, you met
development
him
of the-
one time, and then he's here for a few months, and
It's like
he's
my
gone.
dad coming back, your
Yeah.
dad coming back.
Yeah, who the fuck are you?
Exactly.
You're like, what? Who? Like, you know, like,
You
oh yeah,
ran away, you went to jail. It's all the same.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference
make
to
a
me,
difference.
right? Like
You're
you
not
were
my
in
father.
jail, like I have to live a harder life because you're in jail, whatever, right? All that shit, and then like, you know, I'm even and in the exact same situation that you're in now, and you're telling me not to get in that, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, oh well, you know, I was in that situation too. Like this is what I did. Talk to this person, like you know, and they're putting you back in that same situation, and then now all you guys are all looped into the same shit, and
Yep.
you're all getting in trouble and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like. You're at such a, you know, it's like it's hard. It's easy to get back into lifestyle because it's like, yeah, like you'd rather live on the edge of possibly going to prison, and like here, prison is like not
Nice.
nearly as
No,
bad.
it's
It's
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Like,
Niggas is getting high in fucking federal prison.
Yeah.
They're
yeah,
smoking.
you use good
they're doing
meals.
drugs.
You
They
got all
got
this
phones. They got TVs. They're playing video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the inside scoop. My fucking brother was there.
I always said if I was a homeless person, I would
Just go to
Just
jail.
go
That's what
Yeah.
homeless people do. Yeah,
You
because
cold in
it's-
the wintertime, just fucking
Beat
go to
someone
jail.
up.
Go to
Yeah.
jail for
I
the
can do
winter.
6. I can do 6
Come
months.
out in the
Yeah.
summer. You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking
Live on
good.
the street. Be a good guy. Beat someone up in the winter. Go back to
Yeah.
jail. And fucking, you're good, man. Shit.
Yeah, man.
Well, don't go to jail, folks.
No.
Stay clean. Don't do no drugs, and you know what I'm saying. Just take care of yourself. Self care Sunday.
Yeah, hope you
That
enjoyed.
was, yeah, that was a great.
Next week is the Halloween episode.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir. It's coming, man.
See us in costume.
See us in costume. You don't know, man. Nobody knows who what is gonna be.
We
what.
don't know this order.
Yeah.
It could have been last week's episode.
True.
True. Yeah, or a few
So-
weeks. Who knows? Don't be putting.
I'm sorry.
Time stamps on this
Scratch
shit, bro. What are you
I'm
doing?
sorry.
They know time stamps.
But-
You see
it's
us
a
in costume?
non-disclosed time. bro.
Comment your favorite.
In the process of our recording, this is Halloween next. So happy Halloween, and
I'm excited.
yeah, we gonna see you soon. Smash tourney.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, prison sounds good, right?